A bunch of
Imagine
people.
the universe. Imagine there's some like aliens in fucking the next galaxy over. Hey,
Hey,
salutations, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another episode of the Perspectives Podcast. We are your hosts. My name is Littyyy Bro Flacko. To my side is Holden Stephan Roy. Say hi, Holden.
hi, Holden.
There we go. And we are here with a special guest. This man is the creator and originator, the fucking putter together of this show that we are presently running. This man is an engineer extraordinaire. He engineered one of our projects. We're about to talk about that actually. He is a producer extraordinaire. Homie makes like the super. We were just talking about this off camera. He makes kind of um, Holden would call it confidential. You said his name was Vibes. I would
Classified.
say just
Classified.
my fault. Classified. Classified is gonna end up watching this and be like, "Fuck that guy with the fucking thing on his head." Um, with Classified Vibes, I would call the production kind of somewhere between Gym Class Heroes and Macklemore. I mean, Macklemore vibes. But he's a producer extraordinaire. At this point, I would say that he is Canadian indie hip hop royalty.
Yo, but like, as
Uh,
much as he's
he
saying
is
that,
a v,
like, I
he
just
is
want
a
to like
Viva la
add into that. He really is a guy who has
yeah,
impacted
nah,
so much of
absolutely.
Montreal's culture
Hey,
and
listen,
scene.
I don't live in fucking Canada, but I know
I'm
what the
just
fuck is
saying,
happening up there.
it's
I got enough of
facts.
you motherfuckers in my
I also
feed.
just got to
I know what's
plug that
happening
he's a
out there.
graphic designer. So if you do need your graphic design
Listen,
needs,
I'm not done with my intro. You're jumping in my fucking whole shtick here, Holden. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. This is a special episode. You're getting fucking froggy like a motherfucker, Holden. You're jumping in my intro. I'm not done here yet. So right, and the man is a fucking indie Canadian indie fucking hip hop legend. Right, he's a fucking graphic designer. He's Viva La Mesa founding member. Right, and he is one of my good friends, um, Merker Miyagi, Merker Studios, Cali. You're about to introduce yourself.
That's it, man. I can't do better than that. What do you mean? Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for fucking that amazing intro. What do you I don't even
Nah, Brody.
say after that. You
Well,
gotta bow. You gotta bow after
super, super well deserved, right? Like we've been waiting to get like the show more stable and like having like a good uh we what we've built here is on the heels of your actions. So right, usually right like the not usually. This is the way that the show goes. So we do our origin story, right? Which I was talking with Holden before this show, and I was like, "Yo, are we gonna do
dude,
the
run it.
origin
Run the
story?
origin story.
Run the origin
Run
story.
it.
Run the origin
Forget who's
story."
across from
So
the camera and just do it like he's
so
not there.
Merker, check it. The way that this show came together, right, is that me and Jesse, right, we were working on Littyyy Bros Volume One, right, and it was pandemic year, and we were working on Littyyy Bros Volume One, and I told Jess, like my man, I need you to fall back from producing. I need you to fall back from engineering. I need you to fall back from being a graphic designer. You and Jesse have a lot in common. You guys are cheat codes. That's what I like to refer to you as cheat codes. And but I told him, I was like, I need you to fall back from all that and fucking focus on being an artist. I got a great engineer that could engineer this whole project for us. And I hit up my good friend Merker Miyagi from Merker Studios up in Montreal, Canada, right? Our guest today. And I had him um, engineer the project. And like I always tell people, you would think that Merker is from New York City because, Merker does not like to share music from artists that he works with. Because, like a typical New Yorker, He's like, eh, I'm just working with you. I'm not necessarily co-signing you. And if I co-sign one of you, I gotta co-sign all of you. And that is a very New York trait. You know what I mean? To be to be slick enough to pull that. And so you, Merker, did actually share our project, and you shared it with some lovely flowers, as Holden likes to say. I actually am the one that says all of this. I don't think either of you said any of this ever, right? Like
You
this is
have definitely paraphrased it, and this is how history gets told.
Has been built. And this is how exactly this is how history ends up happening. It's told by the fucking winners. You know what I mean? So like you guys are part of the winning team, so you just gotta go with it at this point. So like Merker shared it with like flowers, like, yo, I've never partied in New York City, but like if I were to fucking did coke in New York City, but like if I were to do coke and party in New York City, I'd like to do it with the Littyyy Bros. And Holden, who is your friend, Merker's friend, right? Because we're still doing the story like the regular intro. He was like, what the fuck? Merker doesn't ever co-sign nobody's shit. He doesn't ever share nobody's fucking music. So that made Holden check out the fucking video. And then Holden was like, yo, this is kind of fucking tight. And he left a comment, or actually he did a review on the album. And when he did the review, I was like, oh my God, this guy just did the most thorough review I've ever seen done on any of my music ever in the history of me making music. I was like, I got to talk with this guy. So like, I left the comment. I was like, hey, like thirst bucket and shit. I was like, hey, we should do an interview. And Holden was like, I was thinking about doing that, right? To this day, Holden sustains that he was doing interviews before me, but I sustain that it really didn't matter. And like the history starts with me, you know what I mean? And so that's a gem that I never actually share in the intro, but this is a special episode, so I'm gonna share that. So
AD Flacco and BC Flacco, you know?
Right, it's exactly what it is. Didn't matter what happened before. It didn't matter.
This is the new shit from now on moving forward. So then I sat down with Holden and we did an interview. And bro, I felt like I went to fucking therapy. So, right, like because usually like so many years doing this shit, it's just crazy because it's just like all the interviews, all them years for me were always like, hey, when the fuck did you fall in love with hip hop? And it's just like, we all watch Brown Sugar, bro. Like, I don't know what you think you're doing with that question, but we all watch Brown Sugar. Like if guys consider themselves hip hop, real hip hop, and they didn't watch Brown Sugar, I'd be really disappointed in them. So like, you know, I was always tired of those type of interviews. So when Holden's interview came and like we actually talked about my life, I felt like I went to therapy. And being a typical New Yorker myself, right, and kind of like in the vein that I describe you as, I was immediately like, yo, I gotta put on all my fucking homies to this shit. You know what I mean? And then I sat down with Holden. I was like, yo, let's do a show. You interview my friends. But then like it went from like me like throwing it to him to like be a solo show to me being like, you can't do this without me. I gotta be here. I gotta be on camera. I gotta participate in this thing. I gotta cut you off every 5 minutes and interject. I gotta cut off the guest every 5 minutes and interject. I'm very important. So here we are. At episode 61,
yes.
Episode 61, almost 2 years later, and this is the show, bro. And it's thanks to fucking you.
Facts.
And that intro gets said to every guest that comes on our show. And you know what I mean? Like, at max, I think, you know, we really didn't start the intro portion to like maybe I forget how many episodes in.
Like it took a few months maybe to get to like this, but let's say
it's been a year now.
It's been a long time.
This intro,
homie Merker Miyagi, all of this, every single time, everybody heard of you now.
Up in Canada, so like everybody who we interview learns your name regardless of whether they knew your name or not. You know what I mean? And it's always with the flowers, and it's always with that, right? Like this show wouldn't exist if you didn't, you know, if you wasn't on point with your job, first of all, right? because let's be real here. Like, I don't fuck with trash, period. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm not ever giving my money to anybody who does trash work. So, like, for me to have went and me and Jess had one project that we ever did together. But like the Littyyy Bros project was me, Jess, and Paulie. And so having Paulie there, his like if my standard is here, like Paulie's gonna take the standard just a notch above where the fuck I take it. You know what I mean? Every fucking time. So like I couldn't have it couldn't have been, you remember actually from the text, right? Like I think he was the most finicky one in the fixings for the engineering shit. I thought it sounded super solid from gate. But the point being, right? Like I don't fuck with trash, so like I fucked with you because I had already heard what you've done, and I was like, solid. This man can handle the job. It's equivalent, if not a little bit better than what we got here at home, and that's saying a lot because Jess learned how to engineer from our first guest ever, Nunzio, who engineered for Bad Boy Records. You know what I'm saying? Which is like Jess learned to engineer from a guy who's got credits on Ready to Die, not Ready to Die, Life After Death, fucking Money, Power, Respect. Like, so he learned to engineer from that guy. And like I said, I thought that when I heard what you can offer us, that it was, if not like, at the minimal, it was equivalent to what Jess could offer us. And that's like high praise because Jess is like one of the greatest engineers in my eyes as well. And so, to wrap it up, right? Like you got that all on your own though. You know what I'm saying? And then this show comes to be born out of you on your own. I didn't ask you to promote this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you out the kindness of your heart and out of either genuinely fucking with the project or genuinely fucking with me and us actually made a post, and that actually birthed, whether or not the post was exactly what I said in the intro, neither here nor there. You know what I mean? The point is you made the post and that Holden saw it, and whether or not he thought what I say he thought is neither here nor there. The point is that he did make a review. You know what I mean? And here we are, fucking 2 years later, and like we're making history. You know what I'm saying? Like all thanks to you, bro.
I'm gonna take the first 10 minutes of this video and I'm just gonna watch this every morning. This is gonna be my wake up. There's no way I can't float on. Because I appreciate it.
Feel free to snatch the audio for a project.
Do what you gotta
know
do,
what I'm saying?
bro.
Like anything that you ever want to do.
My mental health, bro, is gonna be this is gonna be
Nah, but like you do it. It's all facts.
We're gonna
all facts, all genuine
facts.
from the bottom of my heart. Bottom of my heart.
I feel it, and that's
you know
why
what I mean?
I appreciate it so much, And so I want to say two things. Like, first of all, when it comes to okay, I'll start with your project with the volume 1 that you honored me and allowed me to mix. Like the way you approached me with that one, I've never had anybody straight up approach me with that much like creative freedom as an engineer. You feel me? Because I remember you hit me up and you say, yo, listen, these are the tracks. You do whatever you want to do. You want to cut out a drum. You want to reverse of this. You want to take out a bridge. You want to remove a verse here, there. Literally, like, do whatever you want. And it was like a kid in a candy store, Because me, I work with a lot of different people and I spend my time. Like, I know what everybody likes and I try to, you know what I mean? I try to hit them with that, but it's like, and of course I give my input and I, you know what I mean? I get my little creatives in there, but nobody like gives me their music. It's like, give me your baby and telling me, yo, raise him until he's 5 and bring him back to me, whatever.
For real. No, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, wow, you're trusting me with raising your kids. So
actually, you know what? I'll do you one better. It's like asking you to carry the baby. Because we did the sex to make it happen, to make the baby be born, right? Like be there. But like we asked you to hold the baby for 9 months and give it to us so that once you birthed it, we could show it to the world type shit. Like that is an absolute fact. Yeah, nah.
So it gave me like so honestly working on your project really made it feel like my project. You know what I mean? It didn't make it feel like okay, a project I had to mix in a certain sound to, you know what I mean, to please a certain client. It was like, yo, like basically we want you to be a part of this. And I got to like put the finishing touch on it, and it was a blast, man. I loved mixing it. It was amazing, and like the energy. I mean, the project, it's high energy, and me, I'm usually more low key, so it's like, and you're listening to the tracks 30, 40, 50 times, so it's like it's like a party in the studio, just because you're bumping the tracks that much, and it's like, so yeah, so it was an honor. So for sure, when it comes down to like releasing it, of course I'm gonna share it. It's like I'm sharing my own project. You know what I mean? Like that's no question. You know what I mean? But
Holden definitely counts it as a Montreal project. He counts it as Montreal adjacent.
Yeah,
and Montreal.
Montreal worked on that.
Yeah, exactly. Facts. It wouldn't be the sound that you hear it as if Montreal didn't touch it the way that it did. You know what I mean? The way Merker did. So let's get to the show, Papi. Let's get to the show here. You know what I mean? Like this is what we do, right? So Holden has his set of questions he likes to ask, but like I said, I like to cut them off right from the gate, right? And ask the guest my own intro question, which is like, tell the people your names, what you're known as, tell the people where you're from, and then tell the people where your parents are from.
Okay. So me, I go by Merker Miyagi now, but most people that know me call me Cali. That's like, it's not my government name, but that's like everybody that knows me calls me Cali. Especially, everybody from Montreal, everybody pre-Montreal uses my government name, but otherwise it's like my family in France that uses my government name. And even people at work, if I start going to work or when to, they realize, don't bother calling me Chris, because I'm not even going to respond, So
plus, let's be real, nobody needs another Chris. I don't mean it like that, but like, there's just too many Chris's.
The world's overflooded.
so that's me, man. People call me Merker, people call me Cali, people call me Cal Juice, people call me Juice, like so yeah, I go by many, you know what I mean? As long as it's respectful and it's not yo, I'll respond to it, But and me, I was born in France, so I'm French. My parents were born in France, so I'm French, And but I lived all over the place. I lived in Vancouver, I lived in California, I spent the majority of my time now in Montreal, so full circle.
Oh, wow, that's very interesting. I did not know. I thought you were from Cali. Hence that, like, we know each other enough, right? That like I know that Cali was the original, real, actual alias, and I definitely didn't ever call you Cali. I was like, oh wow, that's dope, Merker. Right? And I think that you had enough of that happen to you that you were just like, I'm just gonna go ahead and
exactly. That's what bro. How many times you explain like, no, it's not Merker. My name's not Merker. It's Merker Music. It's the label. Because when I opened the Facebook, like, bro, I told that story maybe 10 times, and I was like, Merker, okay, Merker. Fuck it.
It's funny how sometimes we name ourselves inadvertently.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like you had a name given to you, I'm sure, right? Actually, you told me how you got Cali, right? Like you got that when you went to Montreal, correct? And because you came from Cali. When you went to Montreal, everybody called you Cali, correct? Right. And so, like, you get names given to you usually, right? Like, battle rappers are this weird, like, group of people that, like, all name themselves, which is why you got, like, New Jersey Twerk and Easy the Block Captain. Like, what? Who the fuck is calling you that shit, bro?
Call me shotgun with a scope. Like, bro, what? Like, relax, bro.
How is that your name?
People with a shotgun, bro? I'm not calling you shotgun, bro.
Snake Eyes. I promise you, Snake Eyes couldn't get nobody in Harlem to actually call them Snake Eyes back in the 80s and 90s. You know why? Because motherfuckers would be like, nah, you don't get to be the coolest motherfucking G.I. Joe history. Fuck out of here. That's the general New York attitude. You know what I mean? Like,
call them Fake Eyes, Snake Eyes are Fake Eyes, yeah. That's what everybody.
Yeah, they'll change the name and shit. Exactly. But the point being, right, like you didn't name yourself Merker. You named the company Merker, right? But like then people are like, yeah, Merker.
identify. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like,
I mean, it's just Merker.
He did.
Merker Miyagi is a good name.
It is. The Miyagi makes it fire,
Just
and it makes it
perfect.
wild sensei. You know what I mean? Like it makes it very like bow down to sensei and shit.
Impossible to use Cali as an artist name.
Facts.
Yeah.
Ungoogleable, impossible to find. Like, forget about it. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm glad that you knew that.
Yeah.
Battle rappers are also another group of people who are not aware of that. I had a guy, very talented guy, super talented guy, by the name of C, the letter C, and the number 4, with no dash in between, no other additives. It was just C4, the actual explosive, the same way the explosive is titled. To which I said, sir, how do you plan on being findable or Googleable with a name like that? Every time I Google or YouTube search or search C4, the letter C and the number 4, guess what's going to come up? Everything about C4, the explosive, and not you, sir. Like, you're going to be on page 1 million before I get to your fucking music. You know what I'm saying? Like,
battling with everything California related, and then like, Robin, I'll do the California government, the fucking the Cali tourism sites, the fucking
all of it. All of it.
And then there's actually a female rapper named Cali from Canada too that already like videos on TV and things. So it's like for sure they trademarked it and all that.
This name that we ended up on was serendipitous. It was what was supposed to be. You know what I mean? All right. And so with that, right, now that we know where you were born, Holden, with his intro, can finally come in at like 30 minutes into the show.
Yeah, you know that's what it is. Sometimes it be like that. And shout out Brick James with the...
It never is this long.
It's a special episode. It's like the homie Merker. Plus, like, high-key, me and Merker already did one of these things that went like several hours, so I'm okay with letting you, like, we already been here.
Facts.
I get to chill with the mans, like he made that shit for like we got a connection. But still, shout out Brick James with the comment. Google C4, then you get put on a federal watch list. So it's not even good for your fans, bro. It's not even good.
No, but every time Holden hits me up and gives me props for starting the perspective for the origin story and my part in it, whatever, you can ask him me. I always throw back to him and you guys, because you guys made it happen. You know what I mean? Like, I shared a thing, yeah, okay, but he clicked on it, he linked it, your guys' energies matched. You know what I mean? Like, you guys did that. So as much as I'm honored to have like played a part, I feel like I don't like, none of the credit goes to me. The credit goes to you guys. I've been doing this for 2 years. You guys have been grinding. You know what I mean? I shared a post, bro. I got
it's like
such a humble guy.
I appreciate that, but still, it's just that butterfly effect of things. Had you not, like, life would be different.
Had you not, this might be this might not have ever.
And given how impactful this has been for my life and things like that, it's like, man, I don't think you understand the implications of the actions.
Yeah, homie's life has definitely changed. You know what I mean? Like, he went from like interviewing like, the friend of his from like Montreal that's got like 10 views on a video to like interviewing fucking Immortal Technique and shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's a serious jump, you know?
A little bit. All love to the people.
You're doing that, you know what I mean? Like, it's not random.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because you guys started for sure, but that fucking 125 interviews that he did.
We're about 200. I'm gonna say I'm about 200 total now.
200 total.
He had no interviews before I was interviewing.
That's not even facts. That's not even facts, bro.
I know 200 people that talk about doing interviews. You know what I mean? And I know one person that's done 200 interviews. So it's like, that's the difference. You know what I mean?
Bars, son.
Fucks with that.
Bars. Merker with the jab.
Nah, but Merker even came through early on, and you gotta understand that. Like, when I got started, not like everybody was trying to jump on some shit, right? So the fact that Merker came through, it was right around when we started. I think it was January. And like, all I know is that having his name amongst some others really added a lot of local credentials to what I'm doing and made more people willing to come through. And again, if you not done that, things like that, it wouldn't be where it is. It wouldn't have.
I remember you telling me that you directly got to something. You by Merker opened the door for you to interview some Montreal, like legend or like OG or something like that.
Shit, I
I
can't even
remember you telling
remember
me
who.
something like that
But
early on.
definitely it's helped. I'm not even gonna lie. Merker's name come up in certain conversations. Oh shit, Merker's cool with you. It's an actually useful name. It's a useful name to drop here and there.
For me, I think I don't co-sign nothing just for the sake of co-signing. I saw the interviews that you were doing, and just like, just like Flacco, man. It's like I've been at the interviews, and it's like there's nothing worse than getting interviewed by somebody that doesn't know how to interview you. And your shit was fire. Like you actually give people a chance to really like give their story and talk and be themselves. And there's nobody really doing that in the city. So I mean, like there's other podcasts, whatever.
Yo,
I'm not
shut up.
saying there's
J7 be
nobody.
doing it.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying there's nobody, but I'm just saying I saw it and I was like, okay, yeah, I fuck with this guy. And so for sure, I'm gonna put everybody on. Everybody, I'm gonna tell them, this guy's doing interviews. You don't want to get interviewed, dog? You're an artist. Like, come on, this guy is gonna. You want to tell your story? You know what I mean? Go to artists and tell them, you want a guy that's gonna give you a chance to tell your story. It's like, bro, show me what's his name here, Adam. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know what interviews came of it. It wasn't like I didn't organize things. I would just be like, yo, hit him up. Just send the people, and it's fire. Shit's proper.
Yeah, I do believe that you sent me to his way, like uh, something like that. Because like I was definitely like not even sure about the interviewing and or the album review. I think you told me that like he might do an album review for you. You know what I mean? And like I didn't even have to ask. He just did it.
Yeah.
On his own. So but it all is. I appreciate that. That shows how humble of a human being you are. You know what I mean? To pass off the credit. I also do the same thing, right? Like I was at an EOW event where like they were like complimenting me on like the show going so long on this platform on EOW, and like essentially like uh bringing another dope element to the to you know what is a household name when it comes to like open mics and globally. And it's one of those things where like I was like, ah, Holden. If he wasn't here every fucking week, if he wasn't on his game, I would have been gave up. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
but
Like
like
I'd have been
the
one of
other
them
hand of it
200
is
homies that talked about interviewing
there
people
aren't that
and
many
didn't fucking
like
do it.
name like a lot of people be showing up. They don't know who the fuck I am, but the only reason they showing up is for Flacco. And I was like, it's facts. They're like,
Yeah,
yo,
they're the
Dutch
homie.
is
They're the
my
homie.
best friend from 2011. It's so good to see you, man. I'm like, I'm so glad I'm in the room.
I have this conversation often with artists that come here when they talk about like doing a record label or starting a team or anything. I always tell them like, bro, you have people, everybody's on the boat, everybody has to be paddling. You know what I mean? Like one person not paddling fucks up everything for everybody. It's not okay because everybody else is paddling. It fucks up everything. So the more people you add to the team, the more chances somebody's not paddling. So when you
So
get
let's
five,
just
six,
let's just shut out Chris Chrome because if this man hadn't edited all of these fucking
Facts.
videos, this shit would
Yo,
not be
that's
live.
another.
And
Let's shout out Danny, who's our
facts,
producer. And if she wasn't here every week to press record on that button, there'd be no show. You know what I mean?
facts.
We'd just be sitting here talking amongst ourselves.
And
And
end of the week, yo, because their platform
end
has
of the
had a
week,
huge
yeah.
impact on drawing people in too. They're like end of the week is
I
up there
wouldn't
with
have thought
Dutch in
of
bringing people in.
yeah, I wouldn't have thought of telling you like, you should interview my friends and do this show on this platform if they weren't already doing shows on this platform and like getting it popping and like doing their usual EO dub thing, which is like bringing artists from all fucking places together and shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, it's this like without everybody playing those parts and without all of us being the go-getters that we all are, right? Like there'd be nothing. You know what I'm saying? There'd be nothing for us to all be like sitting around and like being like, yo, we actually like a good job has been done at this
Facts.
point. You know what I'm saying? Like I sit back and I look at Holden's growth, and I'm like, yo, my boy is grown, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yo, he used to. he used to get on my nerves a lot. Now he just gets on my nerves a little. You know
Just
what
a
I'm
little.
saying? Like, just a little, you know? But like everybody gets on my nerves just a little. So it's just like, like now you're family and shit, you know? Like, but like no, really I've seen him grow as like an interviewer too. You know what I'm saying? Like, too. So it's like I wasn't joking and shit, right? It doesn't take away the comment. But no, dead ass. Like I've seen him grow as like an interviewer. I've seen him grow as an artist, right? Like homie was not like the performer that he is now. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've seen him like reach I don't want to say a peak or a zenith, right? But like he's hit a stride.
We're at momentum.
He's hit a stride. He's starting to hit a stride. You know what I mean? And like I see myself like I'm like, yo, I definitely wasn't an interviewer before this show. I'm just the guy that I am. And I don't know if I'm necessarily like a great interviewer yet, right? But like I think at this point I'm like I think I could add interviewer to the list of things that I do. Like I legit do this at this point. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like trying to get better at it, you know? So like, but like all off of like these little things, you know what I'm saying? So like, kudos to you, bro. And props to you for being such a fucking humble guy about it and shit.
Yeah.
Holden, get us going.
So yeah, we're gonna do that opening question. Classic opening question. You may have had it before, I don't even remember, but let's just pretend you never heard it. So that's a whole story. It starts out with my girlfriend. She be washing the dishes one time. She got her phone out and it's playing that Black Eyed Peas song, the I got a feeling. Ooh. Oh my gosh, I couldn't make high notes all week. It's so good to have my voice back. But anyway, so she be like doing the dishes, Black Eyed Peas song, and I'd be like looking at her and I had to stop. Like, when in the fuck did this song become chores music, right? Because if you think about this song, run it back to like 2010, basically this shit is like middle of the night club music. Everybody's celebrating, everybody having the best time of life. Run it to today, and it's a song that you put on when you're doing some boring, monotonous stuff like chores, where you want to run it back to the times when you were celebrating and having the most wonderful times of life. But unfortunately, you know, you're doing chores. It just got me thinking about the cycles of music, because like music doesn't change, but we change so much as people that the context of our realities evolve so much. And it got me thinking about the little ones. They be listening to the drills and whatnot. They have no idea that when they be a little bit older washing dishes, is going to be turning up to Pop Smoke over there. They don't know that when I heard Pop Smoke, it was straight into the dishes washing routine. It just skips the cycles as we get a little bit older. It got me thinking about the context of our musical journeys, because as Flacko said, you know, with the whole interviews being kind of un peu plate, parce que, you know, the people don't actually ask innovative questions.
Oh, this motherfucker busting out French today. Bitch, what?
I don't know, it just came out. But yeah, basically... Basically everything a little boring, everything a little not like going into the roots of stuff. Everything starts at like 11 years old, like, yo, my first favorite rapper was this, or I started writing rhymes at this, and etc. But then they forget about everything that happened in the early days of life. So it got me thinking about, like, you know, the impact of music on childhood and shit. Like, you popped out of hospital in France, there's probably some French music playing on the radio, being absorbed by yourself, and you might not remember it, but it probably happened like that. But then as you get...
No, not at the hospital. Home, I was born at home. Natural.
Say word, home birth, Merker. So
not that right, but go ahead, guys.
Fair enough. So this is the first time that's happened in all of them. First time.
Nobody's ever
corrected that
like,
shit.
Actually,
I was a home birth motherfucker.
I was a home birth bitch.
No.
So the music was still probably playing in the home birth situation, and little baby Merker was still probably absorbing it. I'm just saying, like, I can remember being like 5, up in the apartment in Montreal. My dad had the gray boxes all over, the amp and the preamp and the radio and the tape deck and the wires going out to everything with the ghetto surround sound and whatnot. He'd be busting his Led Zeppelin tapes and shit like that in the daytime, and at nighttime it'd be like the MC Mario club mix straight from the clubs of Montreal. And my mom's was a little different. It was more like discos and fucking, you know, musicals and Disneys and, you know, all that kind of shit all blending together. And then there's little of me with no control over any of these sounds as they're all being absorbed by me. And all of this kind of influenced me all the way to this day. So I was hoping, Mr. Merker Miyagi, you could bring us back to the youngest Merker you could remember being and tell us a little bit about what it sounded like to be you before you had any control over the music. And if you do remember France, that'd be cool too.
For sure. Well, I mean, I left France when I was 7 years old, so I don't remember much, to be very honest. I have pictures, I have certain memories, whatever. But my earliest musical memories would be those times I was in Vancouver, still from my parents though. And my parents were, I don't want to say they were hippies, but I guess they were like hippie-ish, you know, they were definitely forward thinkers and like doing acupuncture and these things. Like now it's very super widely accepted, but like my father did acupuncture when acupuncture was illegal in France. Like literally, that's why we went to Vancouver, because he couldn't do acupuncture in France, you know. So I guess hippie-ish or whatnot. And so it was like the Simon and Garfunkels. It was like, I guess it would be called folk music, you know. Like that's the stuff that my mom more listened to. Even I'm talking like Puff the Magic Dragon, Peter, Paul and Mary, and these type of things. So like the car trips, the road trips, that's mom's music was that, and my dad it was classical music. So it was the Vivaldis and the Beethovens and Mozart.
Wow.
So he had like he didn't have the big stereo, but he had the CDs. The whole thing is CDs at a time where like CDs was new, you know. Not everybody had CDs. It was like, oh, we got CDs.
It was
and he had all of them. But so that was for sure my early influences. I think that's for sure why I love like acoustic guitar and like we were talking a bit before, like the desire to do like acoustic albums and these things. Like I can easily draw it back to the music that my parents used to listen to, you know, when I was younger. And even like my draw to West Coast music, because it's very like they use the strings a lot. It's very cinematic, you know. Like they have a lot of that. So just, you know, it all connects.
All right. So when you were young, were you like a fan of music? Did you have any desire to create music, or was it just kind of something that was around you?
Sure, for sure. Well, me, I had the desire to create. I built my first little studio when I was 11 years old. I was like, yo, let's do this. I seen Crisscross. They were 11 years old. I was 11 years old. I'm like, if they could do this.
You were like, if they can do it, I can do it.
We're the same age. This makes no sense. Like, come on, why aren't I on stage singing in front of 30,000 people? Hold on. So, boom, man. I mean, like, shout out to my dad. You know, he always supported like any like vision or any crazy idea that I had. Must have overheard this or seen me have this desire. He got me rock, rap, and roll. It was like a early beat making program for the PC, like simple loops you put together, but it, you know, it showed me like the 4-bar structure, you know, the two fours make an 8, the chorus, the whatnot, you know, like it was super simple. And that's when I started making my music when I was 11 years old. And it was like, yo, this is what I want to do. There's no.
So before you were 11 though, were you like already leaning that way? Basketball.
Yeah.
I was gonna
say music, but until then it was kung fu was my first like I wanted to be like Bruce Lee. I wanted to do the movies, and that was my first dream. My second dream was basketball for sure. You know, I grew up watching.
I could see that. I believe that. Knowing you, like, yeah, for sure.
Classic ballers, so like that's like for sure. You know, it was I want to be a basketball player. And
what you saying classic baller made me think of you like as Bob Cousy and shit, like in short shorts with the black and white shit, like doing like a
in those days, I could NBA. I can do that. That's the ball. I can hang with the pro. Nowadays, I can nah.
So, question: what was the thing for you back then? Was it like comic books, cartoons, video games? Was it all three? What was the ones?
For sure, the video games. You know what I mean? Like me, it was for sure video games. I wasn't too much like. Because I leaving France when I was 7, like the language. So like I learned from TV, but I wasn't like super into cartoons at an age where I guess I would have been into cartoons because I guess I didn't really understand them, you know? So I was still like learning and whatnot. So I didn't do cartoons too
There's
heavy,
not
but
like French classics, like some French shit.
there's a one two, yeah. When I see them like Cité d'Or and these things, like there's a one two like French cartoons, and I'm like, oh, I remember. But that's like probably my brother was into them, so I remember like seeing it on TV. It's not necessarily like really me into them because I was too young. You know what I mean? Like, but
video games was it.
Video games for sure. You know me, I'm from the Blockbuster era. You know, the best night is that Saturday night when your friend comes to sleep over. You're getting the chips, you're getting the soda, you're renting the 2 video games, you're up all night playing. You got 2 controllers. It's like, bro.
Yeah, no, that's lit. That's a lit night. What console were you on?
So we wanted a Nintendo so bad. We wanted a Nintendo. I used to go by my sister's friend's house to play the Nintendo, but and we're telling her, "Come on, we want a Nintendo," and like we were spoiled, so like we didn't understand why we get everything else that we want, but we can't fucking get this Nintendo.
Can't get the Nintendo. Yeah, no, absolutely. Totally understand.
There's that one.
Totally understand.
And then one Christmas we open under the tree. We open and it's a Sega Genesis game, but it's the game. It's just the game, you know, and so my dad's like, "Oh, isn't that what you say you wanted? You know what?" I'm like, no, that you think your parents are so stupid. Like, this is the game that goes in the machine. In the machine. If you're not in the machine, you don't play the game. Like, come on. Like, oh god, that is so stupid.
So you just got a game, no console,
You just got given a gift. You got given a gift, and like you're like
so excited.
Father tricks are for kids.
You can't counterclimatic, but because my dad's an asshole, so he just let us think that he's stupid, and then while we're roasting him, he just reaches back behind his chair and busts out. And it's like, and it's like. So we were Sega Genesis, like I didn't choose the Sega Life. The Sega Life chose me.
Life chose you.
Fair.
Yep.
It's different than Nintendo.
So Sonic.
Yeah, Sonic and Sega Rally and Virtua Fighter, and you know what I mean. Like,
dude, there was a lot of good sports games that were like weird sports games, like robot football and shit on the Sega.
The Sega was always better at the sports game than Nintendo. Nintendo was like the adventure games and the family stuff. And Sega was the sports game. The racing games were better on Sega. It was.
And then wasn't there a split between the fighting games? So like, wasn't Mortal Kombat strictly on Sega and like Street Fighter strictly on?
I know they got released on both because I don't know. I think Street Fighter you couldn't get on. Exactly
yeah, Street Fighter was on Nintendo for sure. I played that shit on the Super Nintendo.
Mortal Kombat was on both because I had it and I remember I was so excited because I couldn't get Street Fighter. I used to play Street Fighter at the arcade, so like, I'm an arcade kid. You know what I mean? Like I had my sister at the arcade and we're playing Street Fighter all day, and you know what I mean? Like
Brick James in the comments like X-Men on Sega was dope and NBA Jam too.
NBA Jam was pretty fucking lit.
Both those are facts. Also, if it wasn't Sega. I was gonna say Marvel vs. Capcom, but that was like
that's a little later.
I think that was Nintendo.
That was Nintendo, I think actually. Yeah, Capcom.
Right. Capcom. Yeah.
Yeah, but NBA Jam, that's an arcade game. It was cool that you could play it at home, but these are arcade games, Same thing with the Ninja Turtles.
Right.
So you have that like distinction where certain games be like an arcade game and they don't make sense on a console. Because like I never played none of that in the arcade. For me, these are all console games.
Yeah, no, well, because the arcade, I don't know. There's a certain vibe, when you get the he's on fire and all that, like
yes.
Like a movie in the theater.
You're on fire by yourself.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But like at the arcade, everybody's around you. He's on fire, and you're like, "Yeah, bitch, I am."
I don't know. It's a vibe, and you're moving. You're playing. You're standing up as opposed to like.
Facts. But so like I noticed that. So then before you were playing sports, you were gaming all these sporting games, or was it at the same time that it like kind of kicked off the boat?
Probably same time, because that's what I was gonna say. Like me coming from France, like those times it was soccer. Like basketball wasn't the international sport that it is today. Like
right.
It wasn't even too tough in Canada those times. You know what I mean? Let alone France and whatever. It was like there's handball courts everywhere. There's soccer fields everywhere. That's what they play down there. And so me, it was weird because I was never into soccer, and I moved to Canada.
Crazy that there's handball courts. Like I'm like, wait, what?
Like at a school, like you'll have handball courts. You know what I mean? Like they play handball heavy, like heavy. Well, but now ball is big. Now ball is international. I'm sure all those schools has basketball courts too.
Basketball courts, yeah.
At the time they didn't. And me, like, I don't know why my dad bought me a basketball hoop. I don't know if I said something or whatever, but bought a basketball hoop. We strapped that bad boy to the balcony, and it was like, for me, it was basketball. Like, I just loved it, you know? And like watching Michael Jordan come fly with me, these videos, like I used to literally watch them, and then I can say their narration straight through 45-minute videos, every word, because I can't tell you how many times I watched it, because it's like just fire, you know? Like, I don't know, then basketball was like, now basketball is big again, but basketball have fell off. Like after the Michael Jordan era for a while, basketball kind of fell off. Now it's been hype again for the last little while, so that's dope. But like 90s basketball, it was a different thing, man. You hear that NBC shit on Saturday, the games are starting. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yo, Gremlin be saying that Merker can shoot that rock.
Oh, facts. I'm out here because I was always slow and short, so I had to shoot. I love playing ball, but I was short and slow, so yeah, that's why I got my job, man. You know, you get in where you fit in, right?
So then what makes you, so you see crisscross and decide, fuck basketball, I'm gonna go rap to 30,000 people because I deserve everything crisscross has, and then you get yourself the production set up. I don't remember the name, rock rap and something beat making. And so so you start making some crisscross sounding stuff, or what kind of vibes are you on when you're like 11?
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm doing some ABC rhymes, doodoo stuff, just doing whatever I can. No life experience.
And this is in Vancouver, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know?
I love how we all start off with doodoo rhymes. I love how we all always kind of like, it's like, well, rap about what you know, I guess, and all little boys know about is shit. Like,
I don't know anybody who just decides to play basketball and just starts swishing threes. You know what I mean? Their first day on the court, right? I don't know anybody that does that. So I think it's like that with everything, you know. But you start. I just did a 1-2. And then, you know, like I went with like, I wanted to like, I got the turntables, I wanted to like scratch and all that, but the DJ thing never really caught on for me too tough. And it was really the rhyming, you know? So I mean, I'd get the instrumentals and the acapellas, but it's like I want to do my own bars, you know?
Were you like making your own instrumentals, or were you getting them?
So no, those times early, like after the program, like that was the early days. And then there was a time where I was just going on industry instrumentals. And then I got like into the actual, like I got my first keyboard.
Where would you get these industry instrumentals from?
So those times I would buy CD singles, or I would buy record singles.
Because back then the CD singles used to always carry the instrumentals. Those are facts.
You had the dirty, the radio, the instrumental, and
the acapella maybe.
The acapella, yeah. Like the CDs, they didn't do the acapella too much, but when you got the record, you also had the acapella because they know DJs.
Sometimes they did do the on the CD, but it wasn't as common as with the records. You're right. Like the records was like guaranteed you would get an acapella.
You bought the single, you need all the versions.
So you're like a teenager hitting up the Vancouver shops and like copping records, trying to find stuff to rap on.
Copping records out of the back of the Source from upstairs. I think it was called Upstairs Records or something. There was an ad in the back of the Source where you could buy the whole technique setup, and they had like records listed. I think it was called Upstairs Records. So I got my turntables from New York.
That's crazy.
From New York, I didn't, but yeah, I did. I went to a record shop, obviously, in Vancouver, but no, honestly, it was more ordering. And then it was really, like I said, because the DJ thing didn't catch too much. Really, in Vancouver, what we used to do is drive down to Bellingham in Washington and hit up the record stores there because they had everything. You couldn't get nothing in Canada. Record, whatever CD was an import. You know what I mean? Like if it's an American artist, it's an import. You might pay $24.99 for a CD, bro. You drive down the Bellingham, it's like $11.99, $12.99 for CDs. So.
And when you bring them back, did you get any problems with the border, or you just bring it across?
you have like your $500 that you're allowed to spend or whatever, you know, depending on how long you were there. So whatever, might have to pay a little tax or something, but that's where I used to go get my Dickies and my Ben Davis and all my shit, you know. This is like
the back of the source.
no,
Yep.
Bellingham. We used to drive down to watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it'd be like, because, if you're in Montreal, the equivalent would be going to Plattsburgh, New York, and that's like Canada Shopping Mall, because that's where we go to get American shit, because it's right across the border. It's like the first exit or some shit, and it's got everything you need. It's got the Kmart, it's got the Walmart, it's got the fucking mall with the shit in it, and it's got fucking Target, bro. American Target.
Plattsburgh.
You don't know
keep that in mind.
How lucky you guys are, you know what I mean, down there. Us Canadians, we get to watch the commercials and we're like, oh, we would love to. And I see my son, he's 13, and he's watching the commercials. He's like, man, they got everything in America. I'm like, I know.
Nah, you know what? I know that feeling because in New York, there's weird things that like we don't get because it's New York City and like it's just not allowed like that. So like Walmart doesn't exist in New York City.
Oh wait.
It's like we don't have any Walmart in New York City. Like there's something about like the way that they do their business that like they can't do it in New York City because of union laws or something like that. So like we don't have Walmart, we don't have Sonics. So like we watch all these commercials with like Sonics, like with like the girls on the roller skates going up to the car and all these cool ass fucking drinks that we're like, that sounds like it'd be amazing. And if I would have put liquor in it, it would probably be even better. You know what I mean? And like, we can't ever have that shit. And then there was just other, just little things that like, right. Like we, in America, depending on, this, right. From like Cali, like we don't have In-N-Outs or fucking, what's the Whataburger?
Box though, right? You guys have Jack in the Box in the East Coast.
There's Jack in the Box in the East Coast, but not in New York City.
Not in New York, eh?
There used to be Jack in the Box in New York City, and then Taco Bell came out and they disappeared. And there's no more Jack in the Box at all in New York City. But maybe somebody from New York City could correct me. I don't know, but I don't think so. I'd be all over the city. And I don't ever see that shit.
You're sitting in New York, though, you see these Sonic commercials and you can't eat Sonic, but then you can walk out and you have like 300 different restaurants to choose from.
Yeah. Facts. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Facts.
Montreal's got choices. Like, Montreal's not that bad. Until you get, but Montreal in the 90s, when we're talking about music and fashion, it's a different reality, bro. It'd be like the shit would drop a year later, 6 months later. Like, it wouldn't drop at
this. Yeah, no, that's a fact. I know that for a fact. I know that, like, Canada as a whole was getting shit lately.
Yo, shout out Sarah Khanna saying they put Jack in a Box and bounced.
Yep.
Yo, the thing is, I used to think, because when I was young, I used to visit my family in France, obviously, fly back and forth. And so I would see, I'm talking about, like, these are the days where movies would come out, like, a year later in France. You know? So, yeah, Canada was a bit delayed to America, but then, like, France was, like, a year and a half behind. So, like, when I came with my music and my mom, you haven't seen this movie? And we were, like, from the future, you know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
And, like, people don't understand that the internet changed all that, you know what I mean?
All that changed.
Instant.
There's no, like, nobody's a year behind anymore, man.
Nobody's a year behind anymore. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. As New Yorker, though, right? Like, that's from those eras, right? And, like, as a New Yorker, we were in the future all the time. You know what I mean? So we were essentially the future setters and bearers, right? So, like, to go from, like, being the, like, we go places and we get that, like, feeling of, like, oh my God, you're from New York? Like, oh my God, let me see all this future cool shit that you have, right? To essentially just everybody online like laughing about like us with the Timbs and the black Air Force Ones and like just like mocking New York culture all the time. It's like, man, this is some bullshit. Like, I want to go back to the good old days. Like, I want to go back to everybody being in the Stone Age and us being the torchbearers because I can't bear to like sit here and being fucking laughed at by like some guy online that like I know, but like Merk, because I know that like right, that I know that that we know where we come from, like our friendship. So like I know that that you don't like corny motherfuckers either. You know what I'm saying? And we can identify them, right? So and there have been, plenty of those people like all around littered that you're just like, like this motherfucker's posting that, like, it's like fucking memes. It's cool. I get it. It's the internet, but it's also like, look at the guy sharing this fucking meme, especially when I'm a New Yorker and the memes about New York, and I'm like, and I'm maybe having a sensitive day, and I'm like, now I'm offended. Who the fuck is this motherfucker? Who just posted this fucking meme? I'm offended. I know he's not from New York. Let me click on his profile. Start looking through this shit, being angrier.
How stupid is he? Let me see what other stupid. No corny people, but that's the thing with the, with all the online stuff. People expose themselves, because you could just speak freely, and then it's like, oh, that's what's on your mind. Oh, okay.
Word, facts. No, big facts. I mean, that's definitely where, like, probably like, if I put a percentage on it, like I would imagine more than half. So like somewhere between like 60 to 90% of like my traffic and like situations on my page stem from like somebody just like posting some shit in my timeline. And I'm like, look at this motherfucker. Can you believe this dumb son of a bitch right here? And then everybody comes and laughs, and everybody's like,
you got a blue screen the same way you're blue screening the Littyyy Bros in the back there. You blue screen the statuses, and you just roast these people in person.
Yo, actually, that could be your TikTok play, dude. I know. Like on a real tip, if you did that on TikTok, million followers fast.
You stupid thing, you just fucking screenshot, throw it on the blue screen.
Holden, million followers. Relax, Holden.
Nah, I'm dead ass, man. I've watched you roast, bro. You don't understand how much time I've lost because you decided to get mad at somebody and they don't know you. They don't understand you. They don't know that you're doing this for fun, like a cat playing with an animal and shit. And they're the animal. And then it's 74 fucking comments later. And I'm sitting there like popcorn Michael Jackson guy not posting because I'm supposed to be working. And it's what it is. And it's highly entertaining. I'm telling you, it would be a viable thing.
Yeah.
Imagine reaction videos, TikTokers, and people would come back at you and be like, who the fuck is this Hodunk Alabama motherfucker?
Because then you start responding to the comments, like how they do. You know what I mean? They make the video.
Yeah.
Comments, it's over.
It's done. I'd watch that all day long.
You keep getting banned on Facebook. You be doing on TikTok and blow up and cash out. You know, bans.
Facts. I guess next time I get banned, which will definitely be soon enough. You know what I mean? I was already posting, like, in the last 24 hours. I posted so much, and I already am like, eek. Damn, is that gonna come back and bite me in the ass? Are they gonna like ban me for that shit?
So for me, it's the mental health. I need to take a break from social media, people. Like, how fucked up are you in your life that you can't, like, I don't know. It's like,
I don't understand that. I say this shit all the time, Merker, bro. I don't get it. You and me, we're on the same page with that, bro. Because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? How much are you putting into this shit?
Yeah,
like it's like, you know what it's like to me? It's like when Breaking Bad, the TV show, was happening, and when the Walking Dead TV show was happening, there were these like conversations happening online of like people like being like questioning, like, oh, like it's not right to be rooting for Walter White because he's a bad guy because of X, Y, Z. I'm like, the fuck? I don't care. I want fucking Scarface to win. I want the bad guy to win. And the badder he is, the more I want him to win. Like, what do you mean? And like talking about existential questions about The Walking Dead and like the wrongness of like killing your friends if they turn into zombies. I'm like, what? What do you mean? In a fictional world where like people turn into zombies? Yo, fam, you're not biting me. I'm not letting you bite me. As soon as you turn, it's a bullet in your head, bro. It's a wrap, and I'm not feeling bad. I'm like, yo, my friend is dead and gone already. As soon as he turned into the monster, like I don't feel bad
I
about putting
mean,
a
that's
bullet
a
in his
very
head.
fair
Like,
point. He's gonna eat you.
what? Like,
There's never a
yeah, he's gonna
cure in
eat
these
me. I'm gonna
fucking movies.
die. Like, what?
Where's the cure where the guy comes back to life
So
and he's
like,
just regular again?
where do these like the like where does this even like? How did you get here?
And it's entertainment. It's entertainment, right? Like, I don't know. Do people watch too much television? For sure. But when you feel like you're watching too much TV, you just turn it off, right? It's like
turn it off, bro.
You turn it off. You take your break, right? I'm not saying, but like, how is it such this like strain on you that you need?
It's like it's algorithmic. So you got to be asking like, what are you doing on social media to get fed this kind of shit? Like I'm highly entertained by social media. It entertains the fuck out of me. I have to stop because I have to do things in life. It's not like it overwhelms me. It's a joy.
Then I have so much to do, and then I have so much to actually do that I could never actually overdose on social media because my life won't allow me to, right? Because like I got a job, I got a woman, I got actual friends that I actually love and I actually want to keep up with in real life, actually. So it's just like there's all these things that are actually happening that it's just like social media is really not ruling my life. And it's just like you should probably like think about all the other things that you're like failing at instead of like blaming social media. It's not social media that's failing you. It's you that's failing social media.
You're just a loser. It's not social media.
I mean, I don't. I mean, it's facts. I mean, like.
But straight up, it's like, you know what? I see. I don't know. Okay, I'm following this this post because there's this like engineer that's trying to like sell this like way to make more money as an engineer and a producer to like basically encouraging people to stop selling themselves short and like, bro, stop charging $200 for mixes and shit. Like there's clients that pay $1,500, $2,000, and like this is what you want to be doing. So he has his post and it's an ad, you know, he pushes it so it's in front of random people. And bro, these engineers that are commenting on this, it's like you can just see like failure. Like, or just by the comments, he's like, oh, Phil Collins said that there's no money in producing and whatever. And it's like, bro, I know a 15-year-old that just make 10 bands like producing the beats on like, what are you talking about? Yeah, they're not meeting up with Phil Collins and breaking them off of 50K anymore. That's those times. But I'm like, money to be made. And these people, like, they're just bashing the man. It's, oh, you're selling a pipe dream. It's impossible. There's no money in music. I know Grammy Award winning engineers. They don't make no money. It's like, whoa, what could, like, whoa. Like, it's just
so lost. Again, like you said, no, like you said, though, like, bro, like you can tell by the comment the type of, like, you can tell that you don't actually have any actual knowledge you don't have any actual friends in the music industry. Because if you had a friend in the music industry, they tell you about like, even if like, let's were to indulge their fantasy, right? And let's were to say streaming is killing music and they're not getting paid like that, right? Right? Let's were to say, right? They should have ideally already been established themselves beyond the one song to the point that they can have other streams of income coming in. So even if, right, they're not like primarily making their money off of like a record or let's say engineering, which is like, I think you're like super lost and you don't know like how much more valuable engineers are than the actual artists. And like how like
Yo,
the other jobs that engineers end up getting in like movies,
they make money,
and fucking TV shows, and just fuck making commercials and shit. There's all sorts of random usage for engineers that like people are totally unaware of. It's like, you know, what do you mean? Like,
I want to like Julian Fraser right quick because he had me there doing the show Bars Up where they're like hands are spitting and they're trying to give the producer some shine too. And I went to go do that. And just randomly driving up there, I was thinking about how dope it is that like even everybody wanted to be a rapper 20 years ago, but everybody that wanted to be a rapper now, they all either like do videos or they do marketing or they do, you know what I mean? Like they found like a lane because there's so much more than the rapper. Like for every one rapper, there's 50 positions to fill around, from the engineer, the producer, the marketer, you know what I mean? Like, there's all these different things, and it's so dope that I feel like nowadays people are really embracing that, and so many people are doing different things instead of just saying, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a rapper. It's like, okay, that's cool.
Right.
Like, get in where you fit in, you know what I mean? Like, and you can rap the whole time, and if it pops, it pops. But it's like, bro, there's money to make out there in this music game. Like, you don't have to go and, you know what I mean, dig a shovel, dog. Like, you can make money in the music game. It'll keep
Yo,
you around music.
okay. Here's what I don't understand. Where the fantasy of being a broke artist makes purer art or some bullshit, and I don't know if that's popular in New York, but it's damn popular here. A bunch of
It's
motherfuckers.
popular everywhere,
It's like,
bro.
yo,
Well, it's popular amongst everybody who's
like here's the thing.
unsuccessful.
Since I've been an artist, like taking it serious, I had a full time job the whole time, and I've never suffered or starved as an artist, and I'm still comfortably making art to this day.
Well, so I don't want to cut you, but the thing is that it's the excuse makers too. You know what I mean? Like, it's people use being an artist like as an excuse to not like strive and be successful in any other facet in your life. It's like, I'm sorry, man. Especially as a rapper, it's like, if you're just rapping all the time, it's like, when are you living, bro? Like, you need to live so that you have something to rap about. You know what I mean? If you're literally in the studio 12 hours a day, every day, where you're gonna start rapping about the different foam insulations and the inches of the pattern of the, you know what I mean? Like, because, bro, this is literally all you see all day, every day. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you have to.
Yeah, and that's not and that's not what that, and living is what that's what's actually what music's about. Like music, period. Like that's not just a hip hop thing. That's a every genre thing. That's since the beginning of music, because like the same way that those same people, right? Like we I think we all know and have been online enough to know the people that say all the same typical things. And right, like one of those things that like atypically gets said amongst people like that tends to be things like, oh, because music, is life, and all these, other cliche things, and like I see sounds and colors, and and all these things, right? That like is like, yo, if you value the music and you'd understand that like you have to live life outside of the little thing that you think.
Yeah, but
It's just hip hop did a great job of
but
encouraging that mentality
even
more
just
than
to
any
add
other
to that,
genre ever
right?
did
Like,
before.
wildly the thing is people be mad that nobody wants to listen to their music because at this point the production pipeline's easy. You can make a song, everybody can make a song, but how you supposed to know what people want to listen to? Because at the end of the day, people, not you or me or your peers as artists, because people go into this funnel where all they ever do is send their tracks to their artist peers. So all they ever hear about is artists and engineers, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever goes and goes, yo, people, the regular non-musician types that you're trying to effectively move your product to. Like if you were a drug dealer, these are the users, right? So you never go to where they are, so you have no idea what they like or the environments they consume music in. Because, yo, most people are not just sitting there fucking with headphones on, studying every bar on a fucking thing. That's not how people in regular life consume music. Hell, that's not how you work out to music. Like, there's so many contexts beyond just the like hip hop perception of the purist music thing. It's like, nah, you like, yo, I was out and like, yo, you're at the Caribbean festival with booties in your face, bro. Fuck a rap lyric in that moment. There's booties in your face.
Holden's been outside now. Holden's been
It's like,
outside. He's like,
yo, it's like Atlanta, like crunk music. I didn't get the Atlanta music being in Montreal, Atlanta music blowing up. I was like, okay, I don't even do the club thing out here, so I don't. You know what I mean? Like for me, I hear that it's like, okay, it sounds good, but whatever. Until I was in a strip club in Atlanta and the music is playing, you're like, it's like the whole thing comes together. Now it's like I can appreciate it because I understand like where it comes from and like the environment that it was birthed out of. You need that. You can't play Jay-Z for 12, you know what I mean? Like 12 Jay-Z songs in the strip club in Atlanta, the vibe would be dead.
yeah, no.
If you hear that Atlanta music, it's like, okay, this is perfect.
Unless you're in New York, apparently. I was in a strip club a couple weeks ago that played the fucking Locks. The fucking Money Power Respect Locks. Because Mossberg was in the building, which is like a D-Block affiliate and shit. And like, shouts to Mossberg. Like, I'm not knocking him, right? But like, I also, and also like, smooth move. Like, let me be honest, right? Like, let me not do it like the intro and shit, and like blur the lines of history and shit. But like, the strippers were in between shifts, so like there was a changing. There was changing. Like a majority of the strippers were changing shifts, so they weren't even there. There wasn't nobody like on stage really.
Listen, I'm trying to put up money that at least one of those bitches had on Tim's though. There's for sure. There's guaranteed. I'm willing to put money up that for sure.
None of them. What? How's she gonna work in Tim?
Yeah, the heel Tims. Oh, not the heel Tims. You're playing the locks. You gotta have the heel Tims, man. Come on.
That was hilarious. I like how he froze at that exact moment too with that face.
Yo, but please, can we? I want to touch on this. Please. Holden, you said that how artists just send their music to other artists. You know what I mean?
It's a fact, like, though. Huge fact.
Circles back to where you're saying about the beginning about me not like sharing everybody's music that I work with. Okay, like straight up, I work with a lot of people on a daily basis. Every week, there's like 4 to 5 tracks that I had a hand in, whether it's producing, mixing, recording, like, you know what I mean? Like something, right? If I shared everything that I work on, my page would be a Montreal artist promotion page. And it's like, that's not what my page
is. It might actually be an effective one.
Maybe, right? Maybe. But my page is for me, man. I have my art and my product. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm there building my brand. And my brand is not that I promote everybody else's music. You know what I mean? Like, and that doesn't mean that I don't love everybody I work with. That doesn't mean I don't put my 100% into everything that I work on. I'm on anybody that allows me to work on their music with them. I'm honored because it's their babies, like we were saying before. So it's like, even if we're doing it together, you're just trusting me to be around her baby, to tell you this, that, whatever. Some, you know what I mean? You're open to taking criticism. That's fire. I love it. But at the end of the day, I just can't post everything that I work on, because literally that would be my page. You know what I mean? And then when I drop my thing now, it's like my thing just gets lost in the shuffle. It's like, bro, I'm trying to build up my own thing. You know what I mean?
Word.
Like, and straight up, I've never shared anybody's shit where like something actually came of it. So that's what I love about the fact that I shared the Littyyy Bros, and then it birthed this. That's fire, because 9 times out of 10, all the artists are watching the other artists to see who shared, who didn't share, who whatever, keeping grudges and whatever. And
that's a real thing.
I can post a meme and get 100 likes, right? And then I will share your music and get 2 likes.
And no likes.
People don't fuck with it, but because Facebook doesn't care about that. They know they showed it to 300 people already. 300 people scroll past it. It has no value. So when I put it on my page, it doesn't matter that you have like 12 people that shared it or 20 people.
Yo, Facebook already. It's actually kind of goofy when you see a fucking post that has 4 likes, 0 comments, and 39 shares.
Yeah, you see that like that's not real. Like, and anyways, but so that's the thing. Like, you got to make better content. You can't sit and wait up for me to share it, and me sharing it is not gonna decide your success or your failure. And if you think so, you've lost.
Yo, and like high key, motherfuckers just don't look at analytics, because if they did, they would know that frankly, in a good day, you'll get like 13 clicks out of Facebook for your whole network on a good day.
Yeah, fans in Montreal that has like, he gets 400 or 500 likes. He gets like hundreds of comments on his shit. His page is like a central. Man shared my boy's thing. No likes, right? Like, because Facebook just buries it, so it really doesn't matter. You have to make something that.
And even to that end, right? What does a like mean, right? So like, we did that album review for your shit. You shared it. It got a crazy number of likes, and then we had the data of the click through, right? Because I could tell you how many people watch that shit, how many people actually engage with that content. And it's like, people might like some shit, but like, what is the value of that? It's just superficial if nobody's clicking through to anybody's shit.
I've legit had people to my face tell me, "Yo, I liked your status the other day," and I'll be like, "Oh yeah," something. They're like, "Oh, I didn't read it," but it's like, what are you talking about?
I have constantly people talk to me about like, I like your or talk to me about a status that I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, did you even like it or engage with it? You know, like they didn't engage with it at all. But then in real life, they'll talk to me about it.
It's the guilt. So, I seen that, and it's like, oh, you did? Okay. It's like, okay, so you're a hoverer. Okay, that's cool. You know what? You know,
Yo,
show
I
love.
do appreciate it when people do give me the in real life comment. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it is weird that they chose never to like, comment, or anything on social media. But there will be people that in real life, it's like they hit the comment button, typed away in my face, hit enter, and walk away. That shit has happened before. That's what validates me. That's why I post on Facebook like that. If motherfuckers will walk up to in real life like
You
that,
should be me. You should be me in real life for like a week. You'll get all your jollies off because that's all I got. That's all I get. That's like a majority of people is like in real life. Fucking yo, I be seeing you on Facebook. You be wilding, son. I don't be jumping on because I don't want to catch none. And I'm like, bro, I know you in real life. I know you in real life, and you're good. You can comment. I promise you.
You're less
Nah,
threatening.
son. I don't even be.
You're less threatening in real life. You know, you have to know Flacco in person to know.
It's a fucking
humble and bro, like you're a top tier human. You know what I mean? But if it's only the online, man would be scared to see it. They'd be like, okay, I don't want no, I don't want no.
yo.
I don't know what Flacco's up to.
I'm like the boogeyman and shit, and I'm like to my own friends, and I'm like, yo, I'm not the boogeyman. I'm your friend, yo. Like you're good. Like, oh shit. All right, let's get back to it, yo. We went super off track. So you when you got to the age where you're taking it seriously and it's actually starting to become a thing, like that you let everything go. Where are you? What's the situation that's happening? What's the catalyst that made it that music became the lane?
Okay, so for me, it was always this, like I knew that this was what it's going to be. When I first moved to Montreal from Cali, I didn't want to because back then there was no real like Canadian hip hop scene that was really busting like how it is now with Drake and everybody. So I didn't want to be like a Canadian artist and then have to like cross over to the States or whatever. So I was music 100%. I was investing. I was building up the studio, but I wasn't releasing nothing. Everything was no. I'm waiting to go back to Cali to drop my stuff. And then eventually I just realized like, yo, either you're doing it or you're not. You know what I mean? Like there's always a good excuse not to put shit out. You know what I mean? And then you always regret it later because then when it's super old, you don't want to put it out because now it's old. You know what I mean? Like there's always something. So I'm like, fuck it, let's do it. And somebody actually brought my track up to the radio station. So this is radio station days when people used to actually tune in and listen to live radio every day, weeknights. It was Don Smooth up here, the voice of the city.
Shut up, Don Smooth.
I dropped off down there, and it was a battle of the tracks. So he put my track up against somebody else, and it was another local artist. And you know, these are like when you know you're battling, you're calling all your friends, you're calling your auntie, you're calling your grandpa. Here's the number, just call. What am I doing? Just call and say, you know what I mean? Like
say my name.
You're getting everybody to do it because it's still small and local. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's not Hot 97 and shit. It's like you could actually sway the vote, you know?
Right.
And he put my shit up, and I didn't know until he played my shit. So I didn't get to tell nobody. And I went up against somebody that they had won like 3-4 nights already in a row. It was like a battle of the track. So for sure they have their people on it. Or, you know what I mean? Telling them to vote. And he just played my shit. And like somebody called me and said, yo, turn on the radio. Your track's on. I said, what? I turned it on. I said, wow, that's so dope. And then I won. And then I was like, wow.
You beat the guy that already had won.
That had already won like 3-4 times or
and
whatever.
You didn't even promo this at all because you didn't even know it was happening.
No, it was like real time as it's happening. Like, and so boom. And so I won. And so obviously from then I started telling people, yo, I won last night. I'm on tonight, call and vote, whatever. When we did the 10 wins straight, so I went into the Hall of Fame or whatever, and I got like the interview with the DJ, the radio station, and so now it's like, okay, like I have to release this, and this is pre-YouTube days. This is like you know what I mean? This is like pre days.
We're talking about like AOL days and shit.
Exactly. Like if you release music, you have to drop a CD, right? If your shit
right.
CD and you gave it,
those are the days that I come from, so I understand it.
You know what I mean? So
I understand it.
I put a CD together. You know what I mean? I hit up. I used to fuck with a dynamic producer. dynamic producers. I don't know. They're out of New York still. Felicia Booker is this girl. She started a network. She was putting all the producers together. She would give opportunities for people to to like pitch beats to industry artists and whatever. So I was like part of this group, and I'm like, okay, it's all these other independent producers and shit. I hit them all up. I say, yo, send me your fire joint. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna put it all on a CD together, and that way I had a song with a guy from Alabama. I had some guys from Chicago on there. I had guys from Miami, and so everybody, and so me,
how did you link up with her? This is like pre YouTube connecting and shit.
YouTube, but the internet was already there. So really and truly, when I decided, okay, I'm gonna do this, I didn't even have internet at home. It was go to the internet cafe after work, pull up to the internet cafe, spend 30, 40 minutes. I was just looking up shit. I was just looking up record labels to write down addresses so that I could. And you know, the internet does its algorithmic thing, and it's gonna show you stuff, and it's gonna whatever, and even whatever you focus on, right, you're gonna start seeing things. And actually, I don't remember if it was online or if it was the magazine Scratch. There was a magazine Scratch that was like for producers. It was kind of like the Source, but for producers. And I think she had an ad in there, dynamic producers, get placements, this, that, whatever. I said, yeah, okay, check them out online, paid my little fee, and I was in. So that's how I started being able to submit tracks and whatever. And that's how I ended up in Atlanta to go play beats for an A&R down there. It was all through Dynamic.
How much was it that you ended up paying?
So the fee was nothing. The fee was probably I don't know, $59 or something. I really don't.
$59. No, I mean, but that's good, right? Like it's something that I like constantly have told other artists, which is like, you gotta invest in yourself, bro. Like this is like $60 you invested in yourself, and that got you all the way to Atlanta. Where else?
For sure. Well, in New York, I went to New York. One meeting to play beats too, for sure, and got me working with all these artists because when I printed up the CD, I put 20, 30 in a box and I ship it to Chicago because now the man's in Chicago. He's on his CD. I did the proper jewel case, the real design. Mm-hmm. I didn't cheap it. So when they get this, they're like, "Oh fuck, this is fire!" You know what I mean? I'm on an official project. So now they're doing promotion for me. They don't even know it. They're in Chicago handing out the CD because they're on it. If you're on a CD in the early 2000s, you tell me you're not going to give, you know what I mean? Like you get 20 CDs of a CD you're on, you're not giving that to your 20 closest supporters, you know what I mean? Like for sure. Or you're selling them. I told them like, yo, if you need more CDs, let me know. I'll ship you more CDs. You know, it's like, so it was a way for me just to get like music kind of all over because I hadn't really figured out that it was going to be with the internet. You know, I was still doing this.
Yo, but still, like, all things considered,
I know the grind.
We talk to a lot of people. That's still pretty fucking, like, innovative, and not a lot of people be tapping into how to get your music out there like that. Like, you basically figured out paid marketing strategies that didn't exist before they happened in real life.
Business minded, you know. I guess my father was always an entrepreneur, and so I guess I get that from him, you know. The business minded.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's music, you know. I don't know, if anything you concentrate and focus on, like you're gonna see, unless you're just talking and making excuses. That's what most people do. But if you're actually doing it and you're focusing, you're gonna find a way, man. You know what I mean? Always.
So then, I guess what happens after? Like, how long does that last? That situation?
That's because that was the first CD I dropped. That was dope. After that, then the second CD I did all with the team, like the artists that I was working with in Montreal. It was all original music, all produced by either myself or Ips, the other producer, my brother that I was working with, and yeah, that second CD was fire, but that was all like Montreal, right? And that was all original. And then from there is when life really started. So then it became like tough to juggle because when my son was born, and so it's like before those times I was hustling and I could invest in myself more. Now when you have priorities, you gotta. So then but then again, right? Like every situation. So I just had to find a way how to do it with whatever resources I had or whatever the case is. So it took me a little bit longer, you know, and then at the same time, the game was changing completely. So like given the time for for the game to change and be how it is now. Like now, bro, CDs don't even exist. You know what I mean? For a long while, man, I was still pushing CDs for $5, and we went from $10 to $5, and they were hanging on. But now it's like there was a gap where it's like nobody really knew how the consumer consumed music. Like it was online, but it was like pirated. It was, you know what I mean? Like iTunes didn't start yet. Like there was a whole shift. But now there's like this is the new music industry, and it's always evolving, but it's here. It's ready, and it's so easily accessible that it's like, or to go back to that $60, like, bro, if you're not willing to pay $30 a year, for DistroKid to upload
Yeah, I don't
an
get that.
unlimited amount of music. Like, you know, I come from the age where having a distribution deal would have like changed my life, and it's like you
Yeah.
can have a distribution deal for $30, and it's like I don't there's I don't care what the excuse is, bro. There's no way, like, I'm not listening to any excuse that anybody has to tell me that you don't have $30, bro, for the year, and you're not dropping a song every 3-4 months. Like, that's you can't even call yourself an artist if you're not at the very least doing that. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's way too easy now, you know. So everything in its time, you know what I mean? Everything in its time now. It's super easily accessible. I've bartered to, like, you know, exchange studio time for videos. I've you know, like, done whatever I could to get whatever product and content I could get, and grind it out. You know what I mean? So the music grind was always ongoing.
So when so after your son is born, what do you shift to? Is like, do you give up the artist dreams? Do you start focusing more on being a studio guy, or how does it change?
That's where I started renting out the studio. So yeah, that's and it's shout out to the wife. I always have to give her credit for that. I'm not gonna be out here acting like, because people would ask me to rent out the studio before, and I always said nah, not like I didn't build a studio to rent it out to you for $20 an hour. It's like, you want to do a song together, we could do a song together, but I'm not sitting down there recording you. You know, like, I was never the goal. But when my wife got pregnant and she's like, bro, it doesn't make sense for you not to be doing it. I'm like, all right, boom. I said yes to one person, and then it just rolled from there. Like, honestly, that's where I feel like you get in where you fit in. You know what I mean? Because I didn't do no advertisement. I didn't do none of that stuff. It was all just word of mouth. People just started coming to record. It was like, you want to come and record by me, and then one person brings somebody to do a feature. They hear, oh, so I want to come here too, and everybody comes, and then it just really rolled. Like, I would get messages from people like, "Oh, there's something really magical happening in your place," and like people that have been in the scene for like 10 years and stuff, and see this. So me, I'm just grinding, and it's at the same time like making me feel like I'm still doing music, even if I'm not concentrating on my art, right? Because I'm still helping. Like, I've always gave 100% to anybody I record. I've never just been like, okay, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Okay, here, yeah, give me your money. Here's your check. Like, no, I'm okay. This is your song. Okay, how can we make this better? What if you do this? I'll try to sing it this way, or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna work with them. So when we're done, I got like practice. I got, you know what I mean? Like, it's experience. So when I'm working on my own songs, I'm that much faster, or I have that much more different ideas to implement. You know, so it was like it's
Yeah,
been a blessing. It's
Merker
been a
has
blessing.
managed to work with so many people that his name comes up a lot in my interviews across it. Like that's how I like measure some shit. Like how legend you're gonna be is people have to talk about you. Otherwise, you mean you could be a legend within yourself, but you're not really. It's not the same thing
Yeah.
unless other
No,
people
you're
tell
you're
you're
absolutely
legend.
right.
So
Legend history and legend all get spoken on.
so
It's
like
not like you can't speak on it yourself. You know what I mean? Like other people got to speak for you.
I wasn't being hyperbolic when I said that the connection to our friendship has like it's helped my career because of the amount of people that will swear by you, the amount of songs and artists that have come through, and people who have gone and done great things. I mean, I couldn't put a number on it, but it's got to be hundreds, if not 1,000 people that have come and interacted with you in some way and left with this positive situation. Because I'm going to tie it into this question, Run 613. He wanted to ask why, ask Callie why he thinks more of others than he does of himself. But that's a consistent theme, right? That's not just like that question. I be hearing that kind of shit from pretty much everyone that talks about you. I never heard dirt on your name, not one time.
Oh, that's big still. I appreciate that. That's love, man. Me, I've always just, yo, I'm sure if you ask around, there's people that don't like me.
I'm positive.
Just to know that you've come across a lot of good. I guess hopefully I've done more good than bad, you know, because I'm definitely
exactly though. That's how you get there though. That's how you get to that. That's how you get to that place where like people speak of you in that positive, and it doesn't matter like what a hater actually feels, right? Because then you got too many people drowning him out with like, nah, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like Merker's a solid guy, you know? And Holden, I think, is talking about like the Montreal side of things, but and then even then, right? Like our show together is like you get mentioned at the beginning of every episode because again of this same way of it's your character, you know, and that's important. Like that's one of the most important things to me, like the amount of integrity that a person has on their own, and like integrity like by themselves, you know, and like when nobody's around and nobody's looking, because that's when integrity counts the most, you know. And then character, you know, and like those things just go hand in hand, you know. And like if a person doesn't have those two things, then more than likely they're gonna be like trash people. You know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah. What do you think inspires you to be that way? Just to like, because it was a legit question from the audience.
Yeah, that's a legit question for sure, and that's my man Daniel Gosselin. He's the one with the stay humble.
Yo, for real, high key, I'm gonna cop some of your shit one day, cause that shit looks fly. I'm not gonna lie. Just give me a minute here.
Some right here.
Woof. It's lit shit, bro. I be seeing that.
I'm all day.
That's dope.
That's the man right there. But
drop the link. Feel free, or if you don't.
No, I'll find the link. I got the link. I got it on Facebook. I'm gonna share the Facebook page right now.
I look like at that though. Again, another exemplary example of like, you know what I'm saying, like the humility and the passing and the shot, like, you know, letting other people shine.
No, but see, like Danny, like him, he's somebody that's completely selfless and always watches out for everybody else. So he's asking me this question, but it's like he's just seeing himself in me. You know what I mean? Like that's him right there. It's because he's selfless. Like, bro, me, I'm an asshole. I'm a prick. I'm trying to, you know what I mean? I'm not perfect by any means, and nobody's perfect.
But no, I already know that. That's why we get along, though. You know what I'm saying?
That guy's a stand-up fucking guy right there, man, and that's why I will always support him. And he's a real one right there. There's not too many like him out there, far and few in between. But so to answer his question, the way I try to live my life is really based on just from my experience and what I've seen, because it's like I realize like a lot of people are transactional, you know, like they do something for somebody, they're expecting something to be done back for them in equal fashion from that person, and they're keeping tabs. And I don't see nothing good happen to people that do that. I've just, you know what I mean? Like I watch people, I've listened to so many success stories, and there's always like these common themes. It's always like more about giving, you know what I mean, than taking. It's always about doing. There's always like these
giving 100%, putting your all into it.
Exactly. Hustling. Put out they're cliches. They're cliches because they're real
for a reason. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's all real, and so because you hear them all the time, you can think of whatever, but it's facts, man. And me, all my interactions, it's basically like me versus, and not versus, but like me against the world, so to speak. It's like everybody, you know what I mean? Like I try to deal with people properly because I would like people to deal with me properly, but I'm not looking for, you know what I mean? Like when I do for somebody, it's because I can, and I'm happy to do it. And people do for me back, like when I least expect it. And I notice the more I do for people, the more gets done for me. So, but it has to be genuine, you know what I mean? You have to really want to do it. You can't like, oh, like if somebody hits you up, bro, and they're hurting and they need bread, and you're like, oh, okay, fine, yeah, take money, and like, bro, you're not getting nothing back.
Don't do it.
Part, like,
don't do that.
You know what I mean? Like they were in need, bro. I say if you can't do it, you can't do it. Like you're not gonna.
Yeah, that's. I just take to if I can't, right? Like because you always have to make sure that self is taken care of before you can take care of anybody else. right? So like I can't starve in order for you to eat. You know what I'm saying? So like if I don't got it, I'm just quick to just be like, yo, I don't got it, bro. You know what I mean? Like I'm sorry. I wish I could. I tell you when I can have it for you. You know what I'm saying? I'll try to solve the problem in as many other ways as I can. Exactly. But like if I can't, then like I just can't. You know, and we just gotta
I had to
be honest.
Was one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn, but I learned early that you can't help people beyond your means. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you really can't. If you look at it like somebody drowning, bro, somebody's drowning and they need help, but you're drowning too, bro, you're not going to be able to help them, or you don't know how to swim. No point in you jumping.
Like, yeah, I think about me. I'm like, I don't know how to swim, so it'd be like me just jumping into the fucking ocean to save somebody who's drowning. Like, what? What am I doing? I don't know how to swim. No, you're both gonna drown now.
It's to find a lifeguard. You know what I mean? Like you can't swim, bro. So jumping in is not gonna help them. But maybe you know somebody that's a lifeguard. You can connect them with somebody. You know what I mean? Like there's usually always something that you can do. You know what I mean? But you
even on that note, if you want to bring that back to music, right? When motherfuckers be like, I don't like your song, cool. But do you know somebody who could like my song? Because you got homeboys that don't have the same taste in music, bro. You could just pass it along. Like if you know somebody that could fuck with my shit. In the same vein of shit.
But this goes to, like, you really have to make music that resonates with people, you know what I mean? Like, because you can harass people and you can ask people to share your shit and do all that, and you can do these, like, favors for a favor and whatnot and all that, but it's not, like, what's gonna make your shit bust is people really being able to relate to your music. If people can relate to your music, it doesn't matter if your hater friend shares it, likes it, doesn't like it, whatever. It's gonna do its thing, you know what I mean? It's gonna do its thing, and I think I think every artist, they're always trying to do is, you know what I mean?
You also have to like sometimes listen to the people, right? Like sometimes it be about pickle chips, and you be like fucking tagged in pickle shit your whole life, forever and ever, and you just gotta own that.
That's why you have to be genuine, man. Because imagine if you love pickles.
I don't fucking love pickles.
You make the I hate pickles song, and then now every time there's an anti-pickle thing, mans are tagging you in it. And right, but you actually inside you really love pickles, but everybody's associating you with the pickle hater. That's no way to live. You know what I mean?
No way to live. No way to live.
Rest assured, I had a chicken burger on my way to New York, and we forgot to say no pickles, and it was exactly like I said in the song. I didn't even finish the chicken burger, bro. I couldn't get rid of the pickles.
Pickle on the chicken burger, it's perfect.
Nah, B.
Yo, it really is. It really is, Merker. Like, let's be real, right? Like, Popeyes fucking went viral with essentially fucking putting a fucking chicken, a piece of chicken, with some fucking pickles and some sauce on some bread, and that's all they needed. Because the chicken's that good, and the sauce is that good, the bread's that good, but you need the fucking pickles.
Nah.
Without the pickles, the sandwich don't taste the same.
That's okay.
Who's the other one? Who's the one that's closed on Sundays?
Chick-fil-A. Kanye West taught me that.
Chick-fil-A is the first one that busts the pickle on thing, but see, then it goes back to what we're saying too, where it's like it doesn't even matter who does it first; it's who does it best. You know what I mean? Like, everybody can put a pickle on a piece of chicken, bro. But now, who's got the better chicken? Who's got the better?
Nobody else. Chick-fil-A might have put the pickle on the chicken first. Yeah. But Popeyes had the fucking 10-block long lines and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like selling out. Have people selling them shits on fucking sneaker exchange and shit. Like,
that's how you know. That's how you know, man. That's why I don't get this old head mentality of I did something first and whatever. Like, who cares, bro? If you didn't do it the best, like if you have to,
it don't matter.
Bro, I really don't care, dog. Like, let other people tell me about what you did. Dog. Otherwise, you're just gassing yourself up, bro. Just cut it out, man. Cut it out. These new heads are here. It's an open game. It's anybody's game right now. Like, if you're from a city, like it's different for you, Flacko. Obviously, in New York, where it's like it's established. It's, you know what I mean. It's
it's super different, but still
from a city that has not blown. And I'm talking about like even Toronto, you can't count anymore because Drake's blown from Toronto.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm talking, if you're from a city and there's plenty of cities, like the majority of rappers are from cities that haven't bust. It's like, you know what I mean? Like the old like, oh, I have to go like take a bus to New York and knock on record label doors. Like that doesn't exist anymore. Now it's equal playing field for everybody.
Yeah, equal. Yeah. Now I tell people all the time, like, I don't understand why like people be so upset. Like, we literally live, in my opinion, at the best time ever for like artists and even for fans. Like, as a fan, you can literally find everything that you want and not like be subjected to the radio and what they think you should be listening to.
Even the ads are better now.
Creating and curating your playlist on any streaming platform that you have. You just gotta search a little bit. And people are just like, search a little bit.
No, but like wildly, it's like, okay, so people would be like hailing all these '90s rappers. All these '90s rappers are still dropping projects, but these guys are still listening to this shit from '97, but don't even acknowledge the 2021 project.
Yeah, absolutely.
Same rapper.
And we live in the best.
It didn't like AZ just dropping shit like everybody.
Like you said, you don't need the music industry no more. Like, you don't need New York City. You don't need the buildings. Like, you can get your record popping locally. And, I had just been thinking about it earlier because I was thinking about talking to somebody. I was going to have a conversation with somebody, and I was thinking about how I wanted to bring up the fact that, like, look at Detroit. Like, Detroit scene didn't pop because Eminem is, like, quote unquote, like, to those people who believe that he's the best rapper ever, right? Detroit didn't pop because of Eminem. Detroit didn't pop when Detroit was doing, we rap, but like we don't really have an identity of our own the way that like maybe Nelly or the South does or was developing, or like Cali did, right? Like they sounded just essentially like New York rappers. You're rapping over New York production type of shit, over DJ Premier type of shit, or Dr. Dre type of shit, but you don't have your own sound. But when does Detroit pop? When they start worrying about their own sound, and they're worrying about like, yo, we're gonna do shit that matters to us. We don't give a fuck whether or not other people like it. We don't give a fuck. We're gonna listen to this shit. The town is gonna listen to this shit, and this is what. And that's when you get a scene to pop. Like, you're not gonna ever get a scene to pop worrying or trying to do somebody else's sound. You need to create the sound that the scene locally is already fermenting with, and you need to cultivate that sound.
And you have to like actually, but to that point, you have to actually be out there. So the one thing I never did right until this round was go into shit that I wasn't performing at. I've been to so much shit this year that I'm not performing at, not because like or whatever, but I mean like I just love the sound and I want to know what's happening. I want to sweat and dance around with the fucking people and be like a fan of this shit.
Ho loves to dance around like with his.
You both have seen that shit.
He definitely be with his fucking loose, carefree.
He's the definition of dance like nobody's watching. That's
facts.
You gotta perform even if you're not performing.
You know what I mean? And it's so infectious because you see.
Look at you, Holden.
Same thing like how you're saying Detroit when they started doing their own thing and fuck what people think. I see Holden dancing and like the three hardest mans was like this. Tutus are like you see them. They're like half doing what Holden is doing. It's like it's infectious, bro. If you're just doing it and it's out there.
No, like I don't want to say like it's fully like that, but definitely I start doing my little fake sturdy because I know it's not a full sturdy. I'm a heavy guy. My knees can't handle a full sturdy yet. We work in there. But then you see these guys who could go full sturdy right now, and they don't. They hold off. And then 2.5 hours later, a circle broke out for like 4 minutes, and you could have told everybody could have been going hard the whole night. But they don't. They just like stand there and shit. I'm like, what am I doing? Bro, I paid money to be here, and I'm allowed to get my fucking calorie burn on.
I'm going to participate.
And I don't like to like bad talk the Montreal scene because that's just what all the artists do, and to me it's draining.
Right.
This is also just the audience too, right?
This is definitely not a. I don't think that it's a right. Like I think that what we're talking about, right, essentially, is like
people
identifying the things that will help cultivate the actual scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like by sometimes identifying the things that aren't good for the scene, you and putting that into the world, right? like people now, like there might be people that genuinely are just awkward or unaware, or you know what I'm saying, and they learn by like other people, like, oh, that's like cringe and people don't like that, oh shit, I guess maybe I should stop doing that shit, you know, like. And but like that's how scenes change. And like you guys focusing on your own scene out there is gonna be what ends up
Well, it just
blowing up the scene out there.
and people not caring, man, just doing what is genuine to them. Like the one that's buzzing the most in Montreal right now, I would say, is probably Nate Husser, and he did it by just making his type of music, bro. You don't listen to him and say like, oh, he sounds like this guy or sounds like that guy. It's like you need to like more than the starving artist, being the original artist. That's that's
Yo, but Nate,
the
Nate like put out a high quality product. You could tell that like investments and efforts went into creating opportunities for himself. Didn't he get himself into a movie or a TV show or some shit like that? Like it's
being
because that's the thing is he was willing to become the character and actually take advantage of it. Like something I noticed is a lot of people be trying to be like the homeboy that they work with in the factory, and it's like you should be trying to be this. If you're in your 30s and shit too, like if you're old and what, shouldn't you be trying to be like kind of like successful in like the presentation of like the fantasy of the music? Like nah, but people be like, because who wants to listen to like what you do for a living? I made that album and I discovered nobody want to listen to office worker shit because it's office worker shit. Like that's what you do for a living. It's not what you like. Yeah, maybe a couple people want to struggle and relate to it, but like sometimes if it gets too close to home, it's not even an escape no more. So I had to learn from that lesson and be like, okay, no, we got to do something a little bit more elaborate because people kind of want to vicariously live through your music. So now you got to be doing shit that they want to be doing because you put yourself in a position where you're able to live a life that they can't live.
for sure, for sure.
And
People can relate to the dream. You know, you sell the dream, they can relate to that. Or people want to relate to that. They don't have to try to relate to that. It's like
but like I
breath
said,
of
you
fresh
have to live that shit, right? I'm not saying you get to just talk about it. Like you have to create the opportunities to have a more interesting life.
for sure. But most of the people, even if you talk to a 50 Cent or something, like all the making money and living the baller life that he lived, that he rapped about on Get Rich or Die Trying, he was broke when he wrote that shit, man. Like, and then because he did that and dropped it, then he got to live it, you know. And it's just, it goes back to the successful mind state, you know,
It's
the mind.
visualization.
Yeah, like if you don't believe it, man, if you believe you're gonna fail, then I guarantee you're gonna fail. Like you're just like, no, man. If you don't even believe, what's the point, bro? But work at the factory. Be like your be like your boy that works at the factory.
I'll just say I just do it as an example
Boy that works
because
at the
like I
factory.
worked at a factory one time. I worked at a factory one time and I saw people who had been there like 12, 13 years. I was the La Senza distribution center, bro. So we throw in bras and panties and bins and carrying boxes and shit. It was a vibe, but like it was still boring ass factory work. But then you've seen people, and there's no like windows and shit, right? So you're inside this shit. And I'm like 18, 19 or whatnot. And these people be like old and they've been there forever. And this was their whole fucking life was to go to this factory for and I'm like, no disrespect to the people that do that. But I'm absolutely one of those people that could not live that life, and I do not understand it. But I have all respect to the people who can because people gotta do shit. But like, it was like a this like reality check of what could happen if I don't have a bigger vision for myself.
But you know what's crazy though is like I know I've personally spoken to people that live that factory life, the 17, 20 years that like they're still getting paid $14 an hour, but you know what? They own their house, or they have investments, they vacation, they have fucking motorcycles and jet skis and whatever. And it's like it's not working for the factory that makes you like successful or not. You know what
Facts.
I mean? Really like how you manage your money and how what you invest your time in and how you live your life, you know, because there's people that did the factory thing and are like relatively successful, you know what I mean, and live a good life. So but I know it's
That right there deserves a bing bong.
Facts.
Word up.
yeah,
I
no, but
haven't.
I know mans that get paid 200, 300K a year and their life is out of control and they don't know if they're coming or going and they they can't get a $5,000 loan because the bank's looking at your money and like, nah, brother, it's not adding up, man. Something doesn't make sense here, you know. So yeah, man, I think perceived success and like actual success. If you tell me somebody who's like financially secure and at peace and living their life and enjoying life, bro, that's success to me, bro.
All I can say is I did not see a lot of that success. I saw a lot more struggle.
There's a lot of losers in the factories for sure.
I'm just gonna throw it out there. Like there was the managers, bro, the managers. Yeah, but the people.
Factory life. I'm just saying that anybody.
No, and you're right though, cause like then you go into shit like don't live beyond your means. Like I remember one interview where the guy was telling me that rappers need to be paid. Why? Because he raps about popping bottles, so he has to go pop bottles, so he has to get paid. Otherwise, he can't do the show. And in my head, I was left with, if you can't afford to pop the bottle, don't rap about popping the bottle.
Yeah, or at least don't.
Or at
don't
least
get caught in the club without the bottle.
But like it's like this circular logic where it's like, I mean, if you want to be that guy, you should at least be able to buy your own bottle, regardless of if the venue's paying you.
For sure.
And that's and maybe the venue should pay you. That's a whole other conversation. But like I don't rap about popping bottles like that because I don't do it. But Flacco does because he does.
There you go.
I do.
Flacco popped a bottle on his interview.
I pop a lot of fucking bottles, B. Like, like if you ever come to my crib, like I have this thing that's like a carry thing, and I fucking started like collecting the corks, and like I filled that shit up in like 4 or 5 months. Like the shit is like overflowing with corks, and it's all like Moet and Ace. You know what I'm saying? Like there's like and some like Voove and like some other like just other like brands that I try, right, from like different countries. Like I tried a Tanzanian rosé one time and shit, but it's like $100 bottle. It's not like some fucking Bel Air shit, $20 bottle and shit, some shit, So, but like the fact he's just to support what Holden's saying, fact. You know what I'm saying? I be popping bottles. I be popping bottles out this bitch. So like, I'm gonna pop a bottle if the venue got it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm popping bottles. I said that the Littyyy Bros Volume 3 album release party is actual testament to that. Like, I thought that the spot wouldn't have the bottles that I got. So like, I told them, I was like, yo, like, I could prove. I'll buy the bottles and I'll just pay you guys like $100 a bottle so that I could drink my bottles in your spot. You know what I'm saying? So like that's how much of a like that champagne drinker I am. That I'm like to me, I'm like, I'm willing to pay you to let me bring my bottles into your spot and pop my bottles in your spot. You know what I'm saying? And so it's not disrespectful. Here's $100 You know what I'm saying? Which is like essentially what you would probably put on the bottle. You know what I'm saying? It was like $100, which like they were like greedy and they were like, no, we're gonna put 150 and we're gonna get the bottles. And I was like, fine, get the bottles. I'll buy the bottles. I'll buy the bottles from you. Like no sweat off my back. I'm gonna drink this champagne one way or another. Is my point. You know what I'm saying? Like. So, but again, I talk about that. I be about that. You should be about what you talk about. Like
I think that's the thing. And also, like, if you're gonna be about something, this is the one that gets me is like rapping about rap is not fun unless you're like into like look. It's one thing if you're freestyling in front of a bunch of people and there is a charm to that. Don't get me wrong, but that's not songs. That's a performing art. That's a whole other thing. That's a skill. And listen, I've been to enough public shit to know that you can bamboozle some fucking people. And you should be doing that too. But like when we talking songs, that's like, yo, you're gonna put this on at the office party. You're gonna put this on where? So that's a question that has to come into it. And then it's like, yeah, rap.
Music for their peers, they want other artists to like them, and it's like, bro, I don't know. I don't think Gucci cares if Versace likes their new line. It's like they're trying to bust the freshest new line to the people that are buying their line. You know what I mean? Like,
and it's also like to have the context of where the music came from. Like if I understand back in the day, motherfuckers rap like that because motherfuckers literally was around each other all day long rapping like that, and it wasn't about trying to like sell a record. It was a lifestyle.
It was about if you could outsmart, like say that you're the best in a better way. But it's been done so much that now it's like, okay,
Yeah, the only place that there really is room for that is in performance art, like battle rap. You know what I mean? Like it's not really like the wave
I would say
to be
once
on
a
records
cappella
talking
battle
about
rap came,
like
what was the
I'm
point?
lyrical, I'm lyrical. You could get away with saying I'm lyrical in battle rap. Like still to this day, it's weird. I've seen it pulled off by like the weirdest people, and I'm like, what the fuck are we? Did you just say like your lyrical like ability or some shit like that? Like what? And
but
like motherfuckers like let it ride. Like,
you have
but
to.
yeah, it belongs in battle rap. It doesn't. It doesn't. There's no place for that in music anymore.
Or
Like
at least
that's a foregone era.
like a one-off. Put it on the mixtape. Put it on the thing you throw on YouTube. Do it on TikTok. You know where it belongs? Those fucking TikTok remix challenge things that everybody's doing. Go bar the fuck up over there, because people on TikTok really do want that shit.
You know what?
Yeah.
As the before the last line on the second verse for the people, for the three people that actually are still listening to what you're saying by the end of the second verse, you'll be like, yeah, I'm the best, bitch. Like, yeah, fuck with that.
Nah, but yeah.
Because nobody's
Yeah.
listening. Nobody's
Yeah.
listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Last song. Last song. Also, you know, last song. Absolutely.
So yeah, when did you decide to get back into releasing music as Merker Miyagi and starting this like run of being the current artist you are?
Well, so that's the thing. Like me, after releasing the albums that I had released physically by CDs, I realized that like I don't want to release music to no audience. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's like I had the album that you call the Alchemist album, which is Long Nights.
Yeah.
I had I had long nights from after my last, like that the gap there. It wasn't because I didn't have any music or I wasn't working on music. I had music, but I had decided that I'm gonna like retreat, regroup, and go back out when I have people's attention at least. You know what I mean? Because honestly, the Long Nights album, it's really like my heart and soul. And if I can only like stand behind 5 songs, it's those 5 songs, man. Like I live and die by them. And for me, they meant the world to me. And I'm like, I'm not. There's no way I'm gonna just drop it and get 3 likes and 2 guys going, "Good job, man. Keep it up." I refused. So I just had to figure out a way, you know. And I didn't have money because things were tight, and I was working all the time, and I was working on people's stuff and whatnot. But I just had to figure out a way, you know. And when I felt like I had people's attention and people were relatively listening, I put it out, you know. And when I put it out, bro, honestly, the feedback I got was crazy. I got more love than I could ever imagine. It was like I was for sure scared shitless to drop it because it meant so much to me and I had been waiting so long. But honestly, like people messaging me telling me like their favorite line, like it wasn't even just their favorite song. They're telling me their favorite line from this one and that. I'm just like, oh my god, like people are listening. Like this is insane. Like
That's a great feeling.
Yeah, it blew my mind. So I mean, obviously, it didn't do no million views. It didn't do nothing like that. But for me, it was like an experience of a lifetime. And like I said, honestly, at a certain point, there's no excuse anymore, bro. You put up your $30 and you put up the music, or you stop saying that you're an artist, because it's like, bro, if you tell people you're an artist and where can I listen to your music and give me your email, I'm gonna send you something, bro. Come on, it's not like.
Bro, I don't know how I'm supposed to listen to your MP3 file. Like, high key, if you're not on Spotify, I'm not gonna listen to you, except for the occasional time where I pop a YouTube video on when I'm in the midday. But if I'm out and about, bro, and you're not on Spotify, you don't get play. You could be my favorite artist. You could be anybody on earth. But if you're not on, I pay money to those people. Fuck you. Like, are you kidding me? I pay for the right to do that shit.
And when you listen to it, you get paid, bro. Like, I don't
Bro,
understand these people complaining.
I got like $40 for fucking merry-go-round, okay? Like, get the fuck out of here that you can't get no fucking money out of that shit. Just run your own shit up and get yourself a little bank. Get 4 people to run with you.
They give you 0.0003 cents, bro. That's 0.0003 cents more than you get when you.
Yo, that means that when it is at 10,000 fucking views, it's $30. Like, what are y'all saying?
Like, you think artists, people forget when radio came out, they thought radio was gonna kill music. Nobody's gonna buy music anymore.
Yeah. All y'all favorite artists are also getting not that fucking money. They're on labels and shit. So when they bitch, it's because they're getting like 4% of that whatever, and they don't actually see money. When you put it on DistroKid, you get it all, unless you work out splits with your people. You get it all.
It's
You
bigger
get.
than the cut you're getting off the label before, and you're crying, bro. And now you don't have to deal with the label. And every Tom, Dick, and Harry that tells you, "Yo, where can I listen to your thing?" and you send them, and they listen to it, you get paid, bro. What are you talking about? I don't understand how people are complaining. It's like, bro, get your money or get out the way, man. Like it's
Yeah, I remember. Like I talked to Don Smooth about all this, and he said if you can't afford a music video, you can't be in the game.
Yo, you know what?
And he just like it was blunt. It was just because he's a DJ. He's been around for 30 years. At the end of the day, if you can't afford to get a decent music video, you can't be in the game.
It's like super cheap too. It's just like, what? How could you not afford that nowadays? Like,
this is something I've only said maybe a one two people in private, but I'm gonna say it publicly. And I'm not the most, like, I don't have the most content out there by any means. It's not like I'm dropping 3 videos a year or nothing even remotely close. But I do have videos, and I've never paid for a video, straight up. So
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, bro, you can. It's either you
super
make
cheap
or you don't. You know what I mean? Like, and nowadays, bro, if you have an iPhone 13, bro, like, you have a 4K video.
Yeah, iPhone 13. Anything from like 2018 and beyond, bro. We've been making cell phone videos since 2017. Easy peasy.
Hey, I definitely, volume 1, all the videos were shot. We recorded a majority of that shit on the iPhone with a fucking Shure mic that connects to the iPhone. But still, nonetheless, it was with the iPhone. And
Yo, didn't Nate Husser make the fucking Catherine video on an iPhone before it was even cool?
I believe so. Yo, you have to. It's just either you're doing it or. And I don't like the naysayers. You know, I got nothing but love for Don Smooth, like always and forever. He's a pioneer in the city. You know, I definitely not trying to bad talk him. But I don't like anybody putting restrictions on anything, man, saying you can't do this because of.
So let me contextualize. It was more if you can't get it done, you don't want it.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Just to give it like fairness, I don't want to misinterpret his message.
No, exactly. If you're not willing to do what you have to do to make it happen, bro, then for sure it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, it's not for you, for sure.
People approach me for free beats and free studio time and all these things, and before, like, I would actually listen and wonder, like, oh, these people, they sound serious, you know, they sound like they're ready or whatever. But then I learned that if somebody's not willing to invest in themselves on this minimal level, it's like they're just blowing smoke, bro. All that shit they're talking about, they don't actually believe it because they won't even put $30 out of their own pocket up to try to start to make it happen. And they want me to invest my time, but it's like, bro, what are you doing? So I'm saying, yo, pay me for the studio time. I'm gonna give you my 100%. I'm 20 years in the game. I'm gonna give you gems while you're here. I'm gonna tell you how to make your song better. I'm gonna tell you how not to drop it. I'm gonna tell you how, like, the things I've seen that do work, that don't work. I'm gonna give you everything for the time that you're here. But you're gonna have to pay me, bro, because if you're not willing to pay me, then for sure you're never gonna make it in this music.
Yeah, I mean, and people act like everything's just free after. Like, bro, if you want to go on festivals for a long ass time, you're probably paying application fees, is what I'm learning. Like, most of these festivals is like $15-20 each. So you apply to 100 festivals, that's like a lot of money you're putting up just to maybe be considered. And if you're not willing to do that, I promise you 1,000 motherfuckers are willing to do that. How do you think these festivals get funded, bro? Like, and that's just one avenue, okay? And then what about radios? You think that's free? Like, what? And people act like payola wasn't back in the day. Like, people act like at some point. Did you not watch the Wu-Tang show, bro? Like, everybody had to do this shit. It's just how it is. And it's the people who figure it out that create the opportunities. Like, yo, I had to start interviewing people because my Rolodex was tiny. Now my Rolodex is not tiny no more. It was a creative solution. Figure out how you can get in and do some shit.
Flex, Holden. Let's go. I like that. You did the do. See, you had to work. That's why when you tell me, oh, shout out to me for whatever, I say, no, shout out to you, dog. You put in the work, you're going to get out of it. I guarantee you. I've just never heard the success story of somebody that said, oh, no, I'm lying. Ashton Kutcher is the only guy I know. He moved to LA. He did one audition. He got that 70s show. He's a millionaire. He never looked back. I learned that you don't base yourself on the exception. You know what I mean? You don't base yourself on the
Well,
exception, dog.
everybody does that in business.
The rule is that you put in the work, dog. I've never seen nobody that's successful that didn't stay up the long nights, that didn't sacrifice, that didn't give it their all, that didn't, when everybody told them it couldn't be done, they still believed in it. It's every single story. It's like that, man. There's no, like I said, there's the exceptions, but fuck the exceptions, man.
Yeah,
I'm
no.
just a
It's
regular
like
guy, you know.
everybody like really want to be Steve Jobs in corporate land. I don't know about at your company, but everybody want to be Steve Jobs because you wrote that one book. You know, everybody in tech want to be that. It's like it's the same shit everywhere too, right? So like what we're saying may just apply. If you're a gardener, I'm sure there's a gardening Steve Jobs dude that's like, you know, it's the same shit everywhere. Motherfuckers that are authentic create relationships with people, and through relationships you can establish bigger goals.
There's all the gardeners that are mad because you can't get paid enough to cut lawns and clients don't appreciate you, whatever. Like, yeah, there's a guy that bought a truck and he has like 12 trucks now and 6 companies and he's a millionaire cutting the same grasses that you're cutting, bro. So if you're complaining and he's making the millions, I don't think it's the grass, bro. Man's complaining about the grass. It's not the grass, dog. It's something that you're not doing proper. That's it.
Fair. So yeah, what else are you up to? I know you got a lot of things going on outside of music that you be working on.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to really branch out. I'm trying to do this acting thing. I'm trying to, you see, like Flacko mentioned the graphics. You know, I'd really, really, really like to write a book, man. That's like from I was young, I always sat down and tried to do it. I have books of me writing 1-2 pages, and because there was no life experience, there's nothing to write about, you know. So I would really like to write a book, and now there's self-publishing, you know, through the Kindle and all that. Like, it's really, everything is wide open right now. So it's just a time thing, you know, because it's still like the majority of my time goes towards like recording people or producing people or mixing people stuff. That's definitely the majority of my time. And then obviously I have my family, so that takes up a lot of my time. And then I try to sneak in my little passion projects here and there, you know, like with the acting, whatever. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and disrespect actors, and because actors are out there auditioning every day trying to get that role, whatever. No, I'm not out there like that, but I would love to, man. I'm keeping my eyes open for opportunities. I did a short film a little while back. They're almost finished post production, so that's gonna drop soon, hopefully. I have a feature. I did a track with BNU well, he's from New York, but he's living in Florida now. That track's actually dropping Friday, so I got that coming. I got a project with Lawrence Green. We have 5 tracks that are done in the bag. Just got to finish mixing those and dropping those. Uh, my online tutorial thing, I'm really trying to push the online learning
You'll tell the
courses.
people more about your online tutorial thing and how you got into that.
The BST life, you know, the blood, sweat, and tears life. To circle back to what we said about like putting your all into whatever you do, you know, to live your best life, you got to put in your all, the blood, sweat, and tears. So it's BST Life Productions. And I'm just really trying to, because it's so easy now just to spend $200-300 and be able to record yourself. Like, you know, 10-20 years ago, you had to really invest a $5,000 into some equipment. And even if you did that, it would still sound like crap. But now you can invest a 200-300, you use the computer you already have, and you can be recording yourself and making at least like rough drafts at the very least, you know what I mean? Or like stuff you can send out to get mixed after. So I think the pandemic blew that open. A lot of artists are recording themselves now. And like me, I have literally 20 years of like just figuring out different ways to do things fast and my own way. Like I haven't learned, I didn't go to no school or nothing. So I've only learned the stuff that I need to know. And I feel like I can put that in like a relatively easy to consume package where people can benefit and don't have to spend 20 years to be able to record themselves and sound half decent, you know? So I'm still in the production stage of that, but eventually the idea is to drop some like small free tutorials on YouTube, obviously, and then offer like the online course where you can really learn how to do everything A to Z and get everybody popping, you know?
Yeah. So Merker's opening up online mixing school.
That's the next step, you know. That's the next.
That's a nice little pivot right there. That makes sense.
I feel like the lane is there. You know, it's everybody. Like, I don't know. When everything's pushing you towards a direction, like I've learned not to fight the current. You know what I mean? To swim with the current. and I feel like yeah, man, it's time to do that. I've been doing it long enough where it's like, okay, I'm not 3 years in where I'm trying to sell people, smoke and mirrors dreams of how to do like. I really put in the 20 years, so I think like I have something that's worth. You know what I mean? Like,
All I can say is I know one person who's worked with Merker's education capacity, and he gave glowing reviews of working with Merker in this regard.
here you go. See? I have my first testimonial. We're locking
Work.
it. We're locking it in. But really, honestly, it's really trying to, because like I used to work a 9 to 5, and I did that for a long time, and I did like full time that, and I did the music full time at the same time. It was two full time jobs. I wasn't doing like music part time on the side. I was doing both full time, and I'd like to sit up here and tell you that like, oh, I just one day decided to quit my job and just follow my passion and everything has worked out. Like, no, I really didn't. I had a full on mental breakdown, meltdown where I just couldn't do it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you just spread yourself thin so much, and I lost it. And the only thing I could do was music, because it's the only thing that like fed me, and kept me going. So like, the same way life pushes you in different directions, like life really forced me to do this music full time, and it's been such a blessing. And I'm just any different way, like any way, shape, or form within like that industry. Like I said, not just as a rapper. Like, I'm always gonna make music and do music. I'm an artist. Like, it's not a choice. I don't choose to make music. I just do. And then, but I'm gonna at the same time figure out any way that I can to take care of my family and to put the people around me on, because we need to eat, man. I mean, it's time to eat. There's so much money out there, and it's like the same way, like, it just takes one person to bust in your city. Like, it just takes one friend to get rich, right? And it just opens the door. Everybody can get paid. You know what I mean? So we just gotta work with what's working, get in where you fit in. And so I'm excited about just exploring everything that's music or art related, and that can open the door for my people.
And how do you feel about the beat battles and everything you're doing with the performing lately? Because you be out there too. Don't act like you just be staying home.
Listen, the beat battles is fire. Shout out to Feezy. He's the one that put me on. Uh, he put me on a beat battle last year in a festival. The festival was lit. Holden was there. He got to see it, but it was right when they just started the vaccination passport thing. So it was like, even though it was downtown where all the festivals are, they had that shit fenced off, and you had to show your passport to get in. Like, and so at that time, not even just the anti-vaxxers, but even the ones that were for it, like, just hadn't had their passport yet, to be able to go. So like, right, I didn't mention it to nobody. It was like, but it's happening again this year, because I lost that year. It was my first beat battle really in front of people. I lost, and so I was so eager to come back this year, do it again. I hit up Fiji. I said, "Yo, put me on. What's good?" Man said, "Yo, he's got to put on other people. He knows too many producers." Or I said, "All right, that's cool. I respect that." The man said, "Come and do this other beat battle, though, and if you win, the prize is to be in the thing." I said, "Yo, let's go. Let's do it." And so I won that one the other day, and now I'm excited to go back to the festival this year without any vaccine restrictions. Hopefully, they don't come out of nowhere. It's like happening in a
Nah,
month,
bro, it's an
So
election year. It's an election year. We're good till the election.
hopefully,
I
see.
promise, bro. Come the election, when that's over, different conversation. But we good till like October or whatever.
Okay, then boom. So then September, I got another beat battle coming up, and I'm looking to redeem myself in that one. And yeah, I'm just learning not to spread myself too thin. Like we were talking before about not being able to help people more than you can. Like, I'm trying not to bite it off more than I can chew. Because that's when you lose it. You know what I mean? Like, you can take on, but there's so many different opportunities and things now.
Mm.
Like, people approach me with things, and I'd be like, "Oh, that sounds like a dope idea. I love it." But straight up, like, if I'm not gonna be able to put 30 hours a week into that, I don't even want to tell you, yeah, let's do it, because then I'm just gonna be, you know what I mean, like, ducking your messages, and it's just going to be something else I'm stressing about now that I have to do on top of the 20 other things that I'm already doing. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've learned to just be like, respectfully, I can't do that. And it's like, I would love to do every single thing that comes across, but I just have to, you know what I mean? Like, be selective for my own mental health. You know what I mean? More than anything, I really
Facts.
just
What?
Take it one step at a time. And I feel like if I do that and I follow my heart and I be genuine, I feel like only positive can come from it, you know, and hardships are just lessons I need to learn. And hopefully we can all get rich, you know what I mean? Because I want to see my people eating, bro. I want a vacation. I want to enjoy life, you know what I mean? So that's really what it is.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. Big facts. See.
My boss, you know, my son is calling me down here because I have to take him to play basketball. You know, this is the daddy life. I could talk to you guys all night. You already know that. I love.
No, that's fair, bro.
Daddy.
And I love telling my story, but more than anything, I love talking about shit, like even stuff we were talking about before we went on cam and stuff. Like, to me, that's the real shit, and that's the shit that people connect with. Like, I love to share my story. Anybody that's interested in my story, I appreciate y'all. But I feel like more than anything, people want to know who people are just by hanging with them and interacting with them. You know, that's literally media. So it's like, you know, to be able to chop it up with you guys and just kick back, like it's good times. You know what I mean? Always.
Absolutely. Yo, I appreciate you coming through. Honestly.
This was great, bro. Thank you.
Yo, and I'm for sure looping the first 10 minutes, bro, because that's the biggest ego boost I've ever received in my life. I don't need drugs. You don't need drugs. You just need a Flacko intro, bro. And you just
Facts.
you need a Flacko intro in your life, bro. And you just run that every morning. I'm sure the sky's the limit for you now.
It's like the motivational mantras when you look in the mirror and shit. You just have Flacco's voice praising you anyway.
I'm telling you.
That'd be dope, actually.
My voice in my head telling me, "Yo, it's never gonna work."
I need to get in the. van.
You gotta get on a cameo, bro. Just get a cameo. Flacco will make you feel better in the morning. No, but like
Flacco going, "You don't believe in yourself, God did." Just personal DJ Khaled.
I gotta go look up all of DJ Khaled and like other motivational speakers shit after that. Like start flipping what they say and shit.
But yeah, we appreciate you coming through, man. It's
I appreciate you, bro.
It's just great to have you here. And shout out to everybody that's watching. That's on the live. There's actually people on the live. There's 11 of them on the Twitch right now. Like this is there's people been chatting the whole time. So like, shout out BCP Pancakes and Run 613. Yo, shout out fucking Gremlin and yo anybody. Bonnie was there. Sarah Khanna was there. Shout out Babaji OTJ, who, I forgot to shout him out. Brick James was in. Like, we had people coming through.
For Prez.
Fire.
And, like, so, like, people was there. Yo, shout out Fino for Prez. Just popped up with the good job, gentlemen. One of them at the end comments. And, yo, so shout out all of you, though, like, because that makes it more of a show and definitely helps us stay more pumped. I'm not even going to lie. And,
I mean, looks like a lot of people came through for Merk because Merk comes through for a lot of people.
Facts.
So that's how it usually goes.
And he be rocking that local gear. I see too. I see you. I see you. I see you. But like,
that's how you get your city popping.
It's facts, yo. They fucking dope. They threw a barbecue just for the people. Come through, get some food. Just last Saturday, they really about it like that too. But yo, shout out all y'all watching in the future, because y'all are wonderful as well. If you couldn't be here, make sure to like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff you're supposed to do. And also for the links, yo, make sure that you follow Merker. I'm going to plug these into the chat, and I think it's at Merker Music on Instagram. And then from there, you can figure out the rest of it. He's also got a Patreon, though. So if you really fuck with Merker, click on the motherfucker's Patreon and give the man some fucking money. It's patreon.com/Merker Miyagi. That's all I'm trying to say. On that...
Merch, eh? You get merch every 3 months, so
facts. Automatic love. Anyway, shout out End of the Week as well, because they're hosting us and they're fucking wonderful. So eodub.com, that's eodub.com, and then all their socials are from there and all that good stuff. On that note, it's been super fucking wonderful to have everybody in here. Shout out Danny, who's popping on, is holding it down off cramp. Shout out Chris, who's going to edit this. I don't know, I'm getting eccentric. Fucks with all of y'all. Live long and prosper, everybody.
Gang, gang.